Special public meeting. Oh, sorry. Ready? I will be in 2 seconds. Okay. Thank you. Welcome to the special
recording in progress.
Sorry. Okay. Welcome to the special public meeting of March 16th, 2022 of the Township of Washington Township Council. Adequate notice of the meeting was given in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act by the Township Clerk to at least 2 newspapers on March 8th, 2022, and this notice has been posted on the Township Bulletin Board and on the Township website. Salute to the flag.
Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
See roll call.
Councilman Casio.
Here.
Councilwoman Feeney. Councilman Sears.
Yeah.
Councilwoman Velez. Here. Council President Morgan.
Here. Let's see who's on. Who else is just Mr. Trevor?
Yeah.
Okay. Let the record also reflect in attendance Administrator Tovo and Susan Witkowski, Township Clerk. We have no approvals of minutes. To participate in the general public comment portion of the meeting, please click on the link below to join the webinar. If by phone, *9 to raise hand, *6 to unmute. Each person wishing to address the council shall give his or her name and home address for the record. And we ask that only one person speak at a time with a 5-minute time limit. Speakers are to direct all questions to the council president. When the speaker is finished with questions or statements, the council will respond. All members of the public and council are expected to conduct themselves in a proper manner. Any derogatory, abusive, or threatening statements will not be permitted, and the council president will immediately rule such conduct out of order and terminate any further comments. Motion to open public comment.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone from the public that would like to speak at this time, please raise your hand. I see no one there, Council President.
You want to give them just a minute?
We may.
It's new for everyone. So.
Absolutely. And we ask for patience, but we will get there.
There's someone. Okay, motion to close public comment.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So we're gonna go tonight, we're gonna finish capital and we're gonna go pages 1 through 12. We also have page 25 that we tabled for Mr. Tovo's input. So if he's able to answer it tonight remotely, that's great. Otherwise, we can revisit it at the next meeting. Okay, so starting with capital. Under road improvement, road program to use existing funds, $444,000. 2023 is projected for $400,000 in 2023, and 2024 another $400,000. I am going to pull that one. Lafayette Road resurfacing, that is a grant for $211,000. I'm pulling that one. Funding for intersection, police, engineering, legal, 2022, $200,000. Pascack Road resurfacing by the county, nothing?
Are we pulling stuff?
We pulling this?
Yeah, you can pull if you want.
Yeah, pull it
Yes.
because I want to discuss it.
Okay, yep. Okay, and we're gonna move to new vehicles.
This is under fire department,
Right.
falls under that, where we weren't going to discuss those certain things.
I thought we were. No, okay. I thought we were.
Yeah, no, I spoke to the mayor yesterday morning about that.
Okay, all right, so then we'll move to the,
Building
Projects.
department, yeah, building, yeah.
We're not doing capital fire department?
No.
We did
Not-
no
capital
one's here.
police.
No one's here
No one's here.
to speak to it, so
Right.
that would be why.
Well,
The
is
director.
that our problem or is it their problem?
That was in my notes originally to accommodate them. I read it wrong. I wrote that it was non-police fire, and yes.
Right. I want all three pulled.
Oh, of
Fire
course.
department.
So let's talk about the ones on this page currently, the ones we wanted pulled from the road improvement. Did anyone other than me want the first one for the 444,000? I just wanted to know, Mr. Tovo, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, what was my question?
You were pulling it?
Yes, I was pulling, 444,000. I wanted to know those existing funds that we're using for this year in 2022.
That is correct. That's why there's no new number showing in 2022.
Okay, are you expecting 2023 and 2024 to be an even 400? Or are you thinking we're gonna go over as well?
Well, I think it all depends on how our grants work out. If our grants continue to remain consistent around 200,000, we should be in a pretty good spot at those numbers.
Okay,
And again,
So-
we have to reevaluate every year, but we've done a lot of catch up, so I think we're in a comfortable place right now.
okay.
Is there,
Desiree, I have a question.
Yep.
When you say existing funds, where are those funds right now? They're in the temporary budget?
They are left over from the 2021 road program. We didn't use it all.
From 2021.
Correct.
That's why I asked if you were anticipating more in 2023 and 2024, because it's less than what we're rolling over. So I was just wondering why we didn't use what we had, but
What happened during COVID is we got a little behind on the timing of our repaving schedule. So we didn't have enough time in 21 to finish everything. So now in 22, we'll be doing that.
okay.
Mr. Tobin, is it not correct we usually spend about 600,000 to 800,000 per year?
Yeah, when we include the grant money, that would be correct.
What's the grant money usually total?
Usually in the area of 200,000.
Okay, so we usually spend about 600,000, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so we're only going to spend the 440.
Steve, you got to move up a
I'm
little
sorry.
bit. I can't hear you.
I'm sorry. So we're only going to spend the 440 this year, and then we're anticipating from going forward, we're only going to spend 400,000 in the next 2 years. I just was wondering why it would decrease 200,000.
This year is 444 plus
Right.
the 211 for the grant for Lafayette Ave.
Okay.
So again, we're still above the 600,000. And again, the 400,000 for the 2 out years, it's a projected number, but we did a lot of catch up over the last 4 years.
Okay. I'm just thinking of going forward when you're looking at the money, the price per ton went way up, right? For the mixes. So we're going to be buying a lot less road surface for 440, and that's down from what we normally spend. So do we anticipate doing instead of 10 roads, we're going to do half of that? What's your anticipated amount of surfacing? I know you really can't speak to it, but
Well, again, you gotta remember the pricing is still lagging behind a couple of quarters. So therefore, the contractor is still locked into a slightly lower price now. If we wait later in the year, that you'll see that price reflected in the tonnage. So we have a short window here to still take advantage of that. But yes, that is part of our number. We've considered that. We're always conservative on the roads that we estimate. Our quantity prices usually come in better than we project. So we think we'll be able to do the roads that are listed with a little bit left over for incidentals or change orders that may occur.
Okay.
Okay, so can I get a motion for the road program to use existing funds, 444,000 with the projected 2023 and 2024 amounts?
Well, you don't vote on the projected. You only do the amount in column.
Well, it's a 3-year
each year.
capital plan.
Yeah, but you don't approve
But
those
if
2
you give
years.
approve your capital.
You only approve that 1 year.
Even
That's
if it's just the word projected?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Well,
let's,
We're required by statute to have a 3-year plan, but we only vote on it 1 year at a time.
okay, so we'll move then to because there's nothing there except for the description of it, road program to use existing funds, 444,000. So there's no vote necessary for that. Lafayette Road resurfacing, the grant, we don't have to vote for that. That full 211,000 that's going to be the combination. That's what makes it 400 next year, or 444,000 because it's also road, or no? Is that something completely separate?
It's completely separate.
Okay. Is that your question, John?
No,
Okay.
Are we splitting that with Westwood? Lafayette?
That's our share of it. Westwood also has their amount funded
Okay.
separately.
And they're funded, Westwood?
They are.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so let's see what else. Who wanted funding for intersection police, engineering, and legal?
Me and Tom did.
Okay,
So Tom, you want to go first? No.
Yeah. I found it overly high. $200,000. I mean, we've already spent a lot of money on the engineering end of this. I don't know how much police work we're going to need when they do the construction. And I've yet to see anything from the engineer on any plans on the development going forward. So there is a question on, that's a lot of money.
The lion's share of this money is going to be for the police overtime for traffic control. We're going to have days out there where you're going to require 4 to 6 police officers.
Well, can we not use the specials instead of a police officer? Since they're of a lower rate.
I'm sure there'll be times when we can use specials, but we certainly don't have enough to go around for this project. We're probably going to use officers from other municipalities to offset our manpower.
So how many specials do we have now? 1 or 2?
1.5. One's a full-timer.
1.5, what is that? A midget?
oh my goodness.
One's a full-timer, one's a part-timer.
So we have 2 specials per se.
We have a full-timer and a part-timer.
Okay, so we could actually use both of them at the intersection to save police overtime.
I would think that's probably calculated into there.
I would say that, like I said, with a need for very likely on many days, 4 to 6 officers, even if we were to offset it with specials, it's not going to put a dent in the number.
So,
Mr. Tover, you're saying most of this is going to be PO overtime.
Or other departments.
It's going to be their outside detail rate.
Right.
Their county outside detail rate. So it'll be a little bit less than their overtime rate.
Okay, so because we have, I'm sorry. Have you had more?
Yeah, I had some more. So,
And again, please keep in mind that this is a timing issue. I mean, Mr. Steers isn't wrong in that fact that we may not come close to that number simply based on when the project may start. But because we're putting in capital, that will be money that continue to carry us into the following years. Because this is going to be, a 1.5-year project plus.
my other question was regarding the engineering and the legal. Per line item,
There's no separate, well, we obviously have separate lines for legal, but not specific to the intersection.
But should that all still come under our attorney?
Well, that's what.
Under his department.
Anything we've done with our attorney regarding the intersection has come from the intersection line. So all the condemnation work and all the other settlements have all come via the intersection line.
And last part of that is the engineering. Isn't most of the engineering now done by the county?
Mr. Cassio, every time we think so, we get something more, we have to adjust.
Well, it should be in the contract. So if the contract says that the county is responsible for the engineering, then we have to make sure they abide by the contract. That's my other question, because my understanding was that we were supposed to do the initial engineering, and that was already done. And then it's now in the county's hands. So that's my other question.
And to remind council, every time, on a few occasions, we thought we were done with the initial engineering.
Mr. Tovo, I'm sorry, I can't hear you. Say that one time again.
There were a few occasions where we thought we were done with the initial engineering, just for the county to come back to us with more changes that were on us. So I don't anticipate this being a heavily spent part of this line item, but we just don't know.
I got a problem with the legal in it. If we're paying for a full-time attorney, why do we have to have a separate legal for an intersection? It should fall all under his department. So I don't understand why we're funding a separate legal just because it's an intersection. I mean, we didn't fund anything other special.
Well, as I've already pointed out, this is how it's been charged all along. This is a special project. This does not fall under his normal retainer.
Well,
Yeah,
why
but
not?
there's normal retainer, his salary, and then there's other legal.
Yeah.
So now they have 3 columns. So now that bothers me.
Well, that's not new though, because everything for legal services for the intersection has been charged to the intersection project.
Okay, so we're going to just answer questions on this capital, being that there's significant amount that can't be answered rather than voting on the page. Obviously, we can't vote on the page. So we're just gonna answer some of the questions and then we'll go back to it when we can. Make sense?
Can you say that again? We're going to.
So we're gonna just discuss any questions that we have on capital, but we're not gonna approve them one at a time. We're gonna approve the page, the capital page, but we can't do that while we're not discussing fire department, we're not discussing DMF, DPW. Why does it still say DMF?
Yeah.
In 2 different places, okay.
That's unusual to me because we did it with police. They were here, right?
Yeah.
And we did a consent agenda basically, and we pulled some stuff.
Mhm.
And now we have Mr. Tovo here and we're doing road improvement projects. So why can't we vote on that just like we did with the police?
No.
That's what I'm asking.
Oh, okay.
Can we vote
Right.
on the section?
I understand we can't do the fire because they're not here. I get it.
Yeah, that's fine, Steve. We
So,
can do that.
anyway,
That's fine.
that's
That's
all.
fine.
You know.
We can do that. I agree with that. Everyone that you prefer?
Yeah, I prefer to vote on the section. That
Okay.
Small section.
Okay.
That's okay.
All right. So let's go back then to the.
Councilwoman Teeny is with us.
Good evening. Sorry I'm late. Would you mind, Tara, are we switching to a different page or just let me know where we are?
Sure, just hang on. Let the record reflect. Also in attendance is Council Vice President Stacy Feeney. We're still on capital.
Okay.
We are on road improvement.
Okay.
I had a question on the road program using existing funds, as did Councilman Cassio. We were told that we're going to use the existing $444,000 for this year. There's a projected $400,000 for 23 and 2024.
Yes.
Okay. Then we had funding for intersection police, engineering, and legal. There were questions there as to the amount and why legal is coming out of that line, why engineering is coming out of that line, and what that 200,000 covers.
Okay,
And that is what we're voting on right now, because that is
Okay.
all that's in that section.
okay, thank you.
Okay. So,
So we're only voting for the 200,000,
correct.
because everything else is
There's
a
nothing.
different year.
Yep.
Rent. Okay.
Councilwoman Leslie, I need you to just speak into the
Oh,
microphone. We're
I'm
pulling,
sorry.
we said you could pull a little closer. When you had a little hard time hearing you the other night, I've got to get you to.
Okay.
Thank you.
No
Okay,
problem.
so
Thank you.
funding for intersection police, engineering, and legal, 200,000 is what Mr. Tovo explained he believes is needed. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
I'll second. Sue, roll call.
Councilman Cassio,
No.
Councilman Sears,
No.
all right, Councilwoman Feeney,
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez,
Yes.
Council President Morgan.
Yes. Okay.
Ms. Morgan, there is one more thing on this page you could address today if you like.
Okay, hang on, Ricky's just texting me, just 2 seconds. He just wanted me to make sure that everyone can hear via Zoom and that Council Vice President has joined. Yes, that's done.
Are we gonna echo all night?
Is there an echo?
Hold on,
Yes.
try that.
There's a small echo.
It's a little bit of a delay. I can't turn it down too much or else Courtney won't be able to hear a thing. Is
Okay,
that okay?
I can go on mute until I'm going to speak, if maybe that'll help.
It's just a system.
it's,
We're getting echoes anyway.
it's in here.
Okay.
It's from me.
Yes.
So, Mr. Tovo, I'm sorry. What was it that you said? Which area, which section can we also go over?
The first item under DPW near the bottom of the first page,
Mm-hmm.
Memorial Clark Gardner, signs and scoreboards.
Okay.
That was provided to you by the clerk, so my concern is if we wait until DPW is present at the meeting, you may have forgotten what you had the chance to look at, so I thought you might want to cover that.
I can't hear you. That last part you trailed off. I'm sorry. Maybe it's me.
Yeah, can everybody else hear me? Because I'm right on top of the laptop.
I can hear you.
Okay. You try it
Yeah.
again. I'm sorry. It must be me.
Sure, so I believe the clerk sent to the council renderings of signs and
Yes.
scoreboard for various locations. I felt we could probably cover that tonight. It's not really a DPW item, but they are the ones that presented the idea.
Okay, we can do that. So Memorial Clark Gardner signs and scoreboards, there's a quote for 28,000. Hot bath, oh no, we're not doing that, right? We're not doing the last 2 lines as well?
No, ma'am, we're not.
No, okay, so just that line.
Right.
Okay. So that quote covers everything that we have here in the pictures, the Clark Gardner and Memorial signs and scoreboards in their entirety,
Correct.
correct? Without any like donation, it's a quote. We're not even looking for a donation from anyone.
We're not, we could, but we wanted to get pricing out there because, I think we saw by our initial phase of signage around town, it really gave a nice pop and look, and why wouldn't we, highlight the fields that we spent a lot of money getting into great condition?
Okay, maybe it's more of a personal thing too. I would like to see our stigma-free signs on there, on the bottom, somehow connected.
We can certainly have those added.
Okay.
We are missing Lincoln Park. There's no sign for Lincoln Park here.
Yeah, that actually, I want to say it was deliberate. DPW had a hard time figuring out where appropriate signage would go there. So if you have a recommendation, we can certainly consider that. And as you know, we didn't include Sherry Field because we foresee in the future there might be some field redesign there. So putting anything there might require it being moved somewhere down the road.
Do we really need 2 signs on each field?
Well, I think because the 2 that have 2 signs are facing multiple streets.
Say
Having
again, I'm sorry.
two signs, why?
Yeah, why we?
I didn't understand it. I'm sorry. It's difficult to
Both Clark and Memorial face multiple streets, so we felt that more than one sign would, just give it
Right.
a better appeal.
This is like a front and a back of the field.
Well, I'll use Clark as an example. You have the playground area, and then you have the area near the concession where, would be the 2 most appropriate areas for signs.
The trees. And that's exactly what we're looking at. They have the same flower box. I thought it's the same picture.
No, it's a
Okay.
different picture.
It is.
One's on Willow and the
Yep.
other one is on Cross Street.
Yep.
Or
We thought it was just a
could be,
different angle.
what's that, not Monroe.
Mr. Toho,
Yes, ma'am.
our logo is not on the scoreboard. Well, can we get that up there?
Let me make a note of that, see if there's enough room to place it.
Is this the actual scoreboard? Is this just like the idea of it?
That is the actual scoreboard.
Oh, okay. So what is the varsity representing?
Wait, what do you?
I believe that's the manufacturer.
And
Yeah,
if
it's
that's there, I'd rather
manufactured,
that not be there and have our logo there. Okay.
Well, somewhere. I mean, if you look at Memorial Fields, it has our sponsor up at the top, but perhaps we could mimic Memorial Fields and do our logo at the top.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm sure that won't be an issue.
And I do remember talking briefly to you about there was an organization that's no longer in town that wanted to donate a couple of $1,000s toward the Gardner Field. I've also spoken with Dan about it as well. So that just, I want, anytime we can consider having somebody donate to it would be a lot. It's just a nicer feel. It's lowers the cost and it helps the people who want to donate feel like they've done something nice, especially with this particular group that I'm discussing. And I don't want to say anything because it's not confirmed yet, but there was interest. So where would you like to go with that?
Do we have a sponsor who wants to donate or this,
A couple of $1,000s, not the full amount because we didn't know what it was going to cost. Maybe it would cost that much for a scoreboard. One scoreboard at Gardner Field specifically was the scoreboard they were asking if they could cover.
No, I was asking, do we have a sponsor now? Or Mr. Tovo, we don't?
No, this looks like a quote.
Right, I know. Mr. Tovo, do you have any sponsors now who have reached out?
No, not to me.
So I think if anybody's watching this meeting and they do want to sponsor, if we can offset some of the cost, that would be fine. But if we want to move forward with the signs, which I think they're really nice signs, we don't have clear signage at some of the parks now. So it would be an improvement, especially for visitors when they're coming for games.
This is great, but we also need more than this. There's supposed to be dugouts that are supposed to go at Gardner. Where is that in this 28,000?
That's it. I don't think it is. And they started on the dugouts, but we didn't get permits for the dugouts. So the construction stopped.
Yeah, right now there's dugouts scheduled for Sherry and for Gardner.
And that
Where's
was
that
on
money coming from?
one budget, right?
It came from last year's capital.
Right, that was on last year's budget.
Correct.
Okay, and we're covering that because I thought the scoreboard was part of that.
No, it was not.
Okay. All right, so any other questions on this before we take a vote?
Do you have a breakdown of the signs, Mr. Tovo, scoreboard, and each sign?
Yeah, I can provide that to you.
Yeah, I mean, I like the scoreboard. I think that's a great idea. I think it's needed. But to tell you the truth, signs look nice. People know where the fields are. They know the fields.
I'm not visiting town. So.
They know.
I'll make a motion for the 28,000.
Anyway, that's my opinion.
Hang on one second. The discussion's still going. Wait, so you're thinking one sign per field?
One sign per field and then the scoreboard. That's just me. But
Can we look at that? Can we look at those numbers and see what the difference is?
I'm going to suggest that we table this until we get a little more information on it. Is that okay? Mr. Tovo, am I backing anything up by doing that until the next budget meeting?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So we'll revisit this on, when's our next meeting?
Monday.
Yeah, on Monday. And do you think you'll have the information for us by then?
I will.
Okay,
And
thank you.
including the logo on the scoreboard? So I'm assuming that'll be
Additional cost?
That's a matter of a phone call to clarify that.
Okay. So tabled will be the. Okay. Okay, so now we're gonna go to page 1.
are we not doing the back for this one or doing the back of the page?
Oh, I'm sorry, I missed it. Thank you.
All right, we got salt spreaders.
Well, that's under DPW. So.
Yeah, I guess just building
Buildings and improvements.
or park improvements, maybe?
Correct.
Yeah.
We would start with the upgrade and replace
Okay.
Memorial Fieldhouse.
Yeah, we'll I guess finish out that with that. For under building or park improvements, upgrade, replace Memorial Fieldhouse, estimate 100,000. Field upgrades, no, that's a projected. Field upgrades are projected for 2023 and 2024, 200,000. Drainage repairs on private property, estimate 85,000. That one I would like pulled.
And I want to pull
As well.
the Memorial Fieldhouse.
And then recording equipment quote for 8,000.
Full.
I'm
Is that
gonna
for
pull
you,
that one as well,
Yeah.
only because I have more questions. I don't know.
So we're not doing the DMF stuff, the two on top, the spreader and the fencing.
No, because they're not here to speak to it, and I want to give everyone an opportunity.
Okay.
Mhm. Okay, so my question, the one I asked to have pulled, actually, Tom, you're first. Yours is
Yeah.
upgrade, replacement.
Before we spent $100,000, I think we should at least see a plan on why we're spending $100,000. Like, why do they need $100,000 to renovate? What are they building? What are we getting?
Mhm.
You just can't say, give me $100,000. It makes no sense.
So number one, are you upgrading, replacing?
Yeah.
That's the first thing I want to know.
Yeah.
Like you said, plan.
Right.
What's the vision?
Yeah.
Do we have something that we can look at, or can you speak to what's being upgraded and replaced, Mr. Tovo?
When we first started looking at this, the replacement option was initially on the table. But we got pricing for replacement, it well exceeded the $100,000 that you see there. So as of right now, it'd be a facelift to both interior and exterior and an upgrade to the bathrooms.
So I could not
A
understand.
facelift to the interior and exterior and the bathrooms.
Yeah, so we're looking at, roof, siding, interior, painting and maybe some moving around of, current space inside. And then the ground level bathrooms are in pretty bad shape. So we at least want to, reface all that.
So can I ask to get it, why, since I've been here, I don't remember it ever being used in service. Does anyone have recollection as to what happened? Like, was there a flood in there? Does the operating things inside are they not conducive to running anything out of there? What is the plan to use that field house for?
in the past, that field house has been used basically for concessions at one time.
Right, that's what I anticipated.
Upstairs was basically storage for football and lacrosse at one time. There's an electrical room, mechanical room, and the electric has been upgraded in the last, I'd say the last five to 7 years, because it was really out of code, I guess you'd say. Those are the things that I know about it.
But Steve, didn't they upgrade the bathrooms?
Yeah, the bathrooms were
ADA?
done. Yeah, the bathrooms
that was
were
just
done within the
within-
last 10 years.
Yeah,
They
probably
were
less than
redone.
that.
Yeah, we spent a lot of money on that. So those are the things that I know about it. You know.
Mr. Tovo, are there specific things that needed to be upgraded to be brought up to be usable?
Well, again, Recreation has felt that, with all the other upgrades we've done at Memorial, and thankfully it's getting more use now, that the last thing other than signage there would be to, give this building a facelift.
I don't disagree at all. I think, and not just a facelift though, I want it to be more than pretty. I want it to be functional. It should be a concession stand. We should be able to get our rec, generate some kind of fundraising efforts through there and not have to put a pop-up tent on the field and have someone pull in their grill. We're a beautiful town. We should be able to do that. If this is money that has an active, valuable plan that we can understand what is going to be coming out of this $100,000, then I would be all for it. Can we see a list of what you got? This is an estimate. What did you estimate for it to cost this? There has to be some kind of itemized list. You did an assessment and you saw that the gas pipe or whatever needs to be repaired for it to be usable. I just don't want it to look pretty, but I want our rec for years to come to be able to use that without us having to spend another $100,000 in 3, 4, 5 years.
Yeah,
That's my personal thing.
The rec coordinator has met with a number of different contractors on this, and there's got a breakdown on pricing, like I said, to include the roof, the siding. My understanding, I wasn't here when it was used as a concession, whether the concession really is not set up properly to be used for that purpose. We'd like to correct that so it can be used for that. I have no knowledge, nor was I informed that the bathrooms were done in the last 10 years. But both the DPW and Recreation looking at it, both advised me that the bathrooms do need some upgrading. So I can get more of a breakdown from them. It's not going to tell you much more than I've already told you.
And to be honest, I think I'd feel more comfortable if I toured it and I looked and I saw that it was in complete disrepair. I used it for years as far as the bathrooms go. At the time, I haven't been using the bathrooms since they took Cheer, since Cheer is no longer here. Maybe 3 years, 2.5, 3 years. I don't know. It was not a pretty bathroom, but it was functional and it was cleanish. It wasn't like there wasn't graffiti. I've been to far worse at other visiting towns. So I just want to see what's going on there. And then as far as Memorial Field, if the rec coordinator or whomever you got the information from can give us a little more of a list of things that would be covered in this $100,000, I would feel much more comfortable and I feel like I'm doing the more prudent, responsible things.
Council President?
Yes.
So I just want to say I've been inside.
Go ahead.
I just want to say that, I've been inside the space and I do know that the current space is too small and the kitchen is not set up as it should be for a concession stand, but I agree a tour would be prudent to find out exactly what kind of upgrades they want to make. And then I do know that when the bathroom renovations happened, Mr. Tobo, weren't they done to comply with ADA requirements previously? Wasn't that the last bathroom upgrade?
That predates my time here, so I could not tell you that.
Yes, it was.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that was a grant we got.
Right, it was a grant. So I just wanted to, when I went back and looked at my notes, that's what I thought, that it was because we were not ADA compliant at the time.
I just, question, I guess for you, Steve. The upstairs, you said it was used as storage.
Yeah, they were storing, helmets, mostly football equipment,
Okay.
dummies, I think there was a sled up there, but mostly uniforms.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering if it was kind of a space where the teams could have their dinners or celebrations.
No, it's small.
They did use it for their meetings, like before a football game, they would show, I think they would show films up there and stuff. I mean, it's probably maybe the size of the section of chairs, maybe a little bit longer, but it's not huge. It's really more for storage.
Just wonder if those renovations would yield us a usage like that, where the teams could have their pizza party after their season was over.
You're looking more at
You're
more than 100,000.
Gonna have to build.
Yeah, I
Wow.
don't know. I've only used the bathroom, so I don't know what the rest of it looks like. I would agree. I'd like a tour.
I
And a
would
plan.
like, yeah, I'd like
And
a
a
plan because maybe there's some input and maybe we can offer some, I'd like to see during baseball season, they're announcing, now batting, blah, 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 like they do in other towns with speakers and whatever. I'd like to see that come out of what's upstairs. I'd like to see music come out of there for when they are if they do have football on the fields, like they have in other towns. So maybe we can incorporate that into the the cost. But we don't know that without seeing what they have planned for it. So
Yeah, I don't want it to be
If you're
abandoned.
going to invest, then you have to invest in security cameras.
security
Well,
cameras. I mean, what do you mean? Why?
Cameras, that damage that goes on the field, on that house.
If I could comment to that, Ms. Morgan?
Mm-hmm. You can.
We do have a quote for cameras at Memorial as well as access control on the bathrooms and other doors so they can be set to a timer or key fobs issued to those that would be users of the building. And that's being funded from the American Recovery Act.
So that's a grant?
It is a grant, yes,
Okay, great.
not a matching grant.
Yeah, I think we need to see a plan. In my opinion, we need to see a plan of what we're gonna get for 100,000.
Right, I agree.
Citing and paint is not sufficient.
All right, so yeah, I think we're general consensus that we just want to see a plan, we want to tour it, and we're not saying no, we're just saying, show us what that $100,000 gets us.
Very well.
Okay, thank you.
Before we discuss the next item, I wanted to ask for a deduct on this to 50,000.
For the repairs for which one?
For the drainage repairs.
Drainage repairs, okay. So 50,000.
Minus 50?
A deduction of 50 or bring it down to 50?
Minus 35.
I would like to bring it down by 50, but I'm asking we bring it to 50.
Okay.
Because based on our most recent engineer review, we feel it's going to come in, well below the 85, very likely below the 50, but probably north of 20 to 25.
Okay.
So the new number would be 50.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So
Do you have a
Is that
question?
okay?
No, thank
Yeah.
you.
my question is, why are we fixing private property with town money? Because I see it, and this has happened before in other councils, we start opening up a can of worms when we start putting public money on private property or for private properties. So I'm going to be voting no. I don't care what the amount is. I'm going to be voting no on.
I think we have to hear what the explanation is, because I think if I'm remembering correctly, or maybe I'm completely off the mark, but having visited in person several areas that were directly damaged personal property because of us or because of something the town did, didn't do, or something that happened that it was as a result of the town, and correcting their issue. I think that may be what this is covering, but I could be wrong.
So, Mr. Tova, explain what the $50,000 is for, Mr. Tova.
Council President,
Yes.
keep in mind too that this is also because of some properties have been affected by development, removing of trees for other properties too that have been developed in other areas, and then down by the lake. We're having some water problems, which is a few residents I've been in touch with and in contact constantly. So there is benefit to our residents to keep them houses from flooding, which I think is huge.
Mr. Tova, do you have anything that you need to add?
Yeah, I do. When it comes to drainage on private property, the general rule in municipality or local government is if the sum of the parties involved is greater than one, and there can be no blame directly attributed to adjoining properties or to the township, normally that whatever that remedy might be is perfectly acceptable to be considered by the governing body. So we have a case here where we have multiple properties affected through no fault of the town, no obvious fault of any of the property owners. It's just things that have changed over time that has, caused drainage issues on their property. Keep in mind that what we're doing here is all going to take place on our property, and they'll be responsible for anything they do on their property, with the caveat we would allow them to hook to our inlets for proper drainage.
Okay, so I'm gonna motion for 50,000. Oh, do you have another question?
I'll
Well,
second.
I'm just reading the line item. Drainage repairs on private property, not our property, but on private property. So when it comes back and it bites someone in the tail, when it's on private property, I'm not going to be responsible for it. So
Council President, I'll
either change the line to reflect what you're saying, or that's what it comes down to.
Well, what I'm saying is completely accurate. The drainage issue is on the private property. We are providing a remedy on public property that they will have the option to tie into at their expense.
That's what I was trying to
Okay.
say before. I guess it sounded like I was placing blame, but I'm saying because of something we had to repair, it affected this private property, and it's really our responsibility to fix that.
So can we change
The line,
wording?
yeah, the wording.
The wording not to say on private property? 'Cause
How about drainage repairs that affect private property? Town drainage repairs that affect private property.
that's still.
Town drainage.
Well,
Town
again,
drainage repairs.
As I said earlier, there's nothing that we have done or haven't done that directly
Hey,
attributed.
Mr. Tova, hold on 1 second.
So what I'm proposing is changing the line description, because it's ultimately what we're doing, but Councilman Cassio is correct. It doesn't read like that, but after the explanation, you can understand why we have to do what we have to do. So I'm proposing to change it to drainage repairs, town drainage repairs. Does that make sense? Is that?
I can agree with that, but Mr. Tubble, correct me if I'm wrong, you said you would like to put it at 50,000, but you're projecting it being between 25 to 35?
Mr. Tova?
If that was directed at me, I couldn't hear any of it.
You said
So,
She said that you.
30.
so you,
50,000.
yes, thank you. You brought it down to 50,000, but you had, correct me if I'm wrong, said it would be more to, from 25 to 35,000. That's more reasonable?
But based on where we are right now, without putting any shovel in the ground, that's where we think the number will ultimately end up. But we all know that we don't know what we don't know.
Council President, I believe there was a motion and a second for the 50,000.
Was there?
Yes.
Just to be clear, we're going to change before we do that, because I don't think Sue doesn't have it
I don't
as.
have a motion in a second, Stacy.
Oh, I
So
thought
can we change this line description? Because without changing it, I'm not voting on that.
Yes, we can change it.
I can't hear you, I'm sorry.
So yes, we can change that.
So are we agreeing to the verbiage that it's going to be drain repairs, town drain repairs?
Township drainage repairs.
Okay, township drainage repairs. Okay. So Sue, how do we have that corrected?
You're gonna have a change from township drainage repairs.
Right, you're gonna,
I will make
it
sure
gets
that it gets
amended or
done.
something? Okay.
Mhm.
All right, so now Council Vice President Feeney, did you want a motion
I'll make a motion for the 50,000.
for township drainage repairs? Okay.
Yes, which I know that they'll change that when they put that into the system. So
Okay. I'll second. Sue, roll call?
Councilman Cassio,
No,
Councilwoman Feeney,
yes,
Councilman Sears,
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez,
No, we can't discuss anymore, correct?
you can
well, if we
say-
don't vote yes, it'll stay at the 85,000. Just keep that in mind.
I'd just like to see it lower. Yes.
Council President Morgan,
Yes, because I don't want it to be 85. Okay, recording equipment. That, can you just, recording equipment, what is that? What is
That's
that?
for you, Sue,
Okay.
right?
that's me.
Okay, and it's under building or parking.
Yeah,
permits.
Mr. Tobin and I talked about that. And I said, I had just noticed it yesterday that was under there. We have a quote for $8,000 to upgrade the recording system because the current recording system is slowly going away and it's not as supported as it has been in the past. So there is a new system and it's called Liberty. It's with the company we do deal with right now. They wanted us to take all the bells and whistles and had like a $20,000, $25,000 project. And I'm like, no. I said, we have half, if not more than bells and whistles. So he worked with me and brought the price down to $8,000. It will be a new computer, 2 new screens, the software. It will also support the Zoom. It will support live stream. Everything that we talk about and do now, it will support, but be even better.
I make a
understand.
motion to accept.
Hang on, I
Easier to
have-
use is from what I understand.
Question, okay, is there another vendor? Or is it, this is the only like game in town?
No, well, they've consolidated over the years. There used to be a few different vendors and they've consolidated over the years. So this is a company that is based out of Florida. It's national. They're all across the country. It's not like it's just local here.
Okay.
And they've got a good reputation and the service has been very good to us. And that we would keep the same techs and support system, just it would be a new system.
Okay,
Is that you,
council,
whatever it is?
Council President,
Whatever. The company.
No, it's right now it's BIS.
Oh, BIS.
Yes.
yes,
Yes. I'm sorry.
Council Vice President,
I'm
so
sorry.
the system, what's the warranty? Does it come with the maintenance plan? And then you said it comes with 2 monitors. Is all of that included in this $8,000?
Yes.
Or is
Yeah,
that?
well, not the maintenance. The maintenance, we always have to pay separate every year, but it should have like a 1-year warranty. I think it's 1 year, might even be 2 years. I have to look for you. I can check you on that.
And what's the cost of the maintenance annually?
The maintenance is about $1,100 and it is split between myself, court, planning and zoning, because we all use the exact same system. So it's not just the council.
And are
all
we
use
gonna
the same.
be backing up on site or is it in the cloud?
It is backed up onto the server.
Is there?
That's the way it always has been.
Right, I know, but there's a lot cheaper options with secure sites for web and it's got a lot better life. Have we looked into that or no?
I will check with Mr. McKee and find out what the backup could be. If it could be with the cloud, I will find out from him.
Because it would lessen the cost of the hardware.
All right, I will double check.
So maybe we table that until she can double check to see if the price will be any less.
will you have it by Monday, do you think?
I will try.
Okay, so we'll table it till Monday.
I will tell you that Hillsdale is doing their system. We did the entire system and paid $28,000 for it.
I'm sure they got all the bells and whistles.
And they got all the bells and whistles, but we have a lot of them right here with the cameras and what Ricky does anyway, so. But I will get that, I will find out that cost.
Okay, so then we're going to move now to page 1.
So just
Mhm.
to understand, we tabled the field, the signs, the scoreboard and signs, and now the recording equipment.
And the memorial
Memorial Field.
field house.
Okay.
Yep. So on page 1, under administrator, requesting 134,100, and that's a 2%. And that's COLA is what I have. Administrative secretary, merit market raise from 58,000. Purchasing assistant.
Pull it,
Okay.
pull 120.
120, okay. Purchasing assistant, QPA stipend not paid in 2021. This is 53,103.
What,
Madam President, I have a correction there.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, I had that one pulled too. It's added wrong.
It is, the total for that line is
499.
$50,499. Yes.
Okay,
50.
50,000. Thank you. That was my question.
This is 140?
140, yeah. And then floating staff, requesting 25,502.
Pull it.
Okay. Grant consultant, 30,000.
I'd like to pull it.
Okay. So we're gonna vote on 100, 110 for 134,100 for under administrator. Can I have a motion?
so moved.
Second.
Okay. Sue, roll call.
Councilman Casio,
Yes.
Councilwoman Feeney,
Yes.
Councilman Sears,
Yes,
Councilwoman Velez,
Yes.
Council President Morgan.
Yes. Purchasing assistant, 100, 140 for 50,490.
I pulled 120.
120.
I know, I'm voting on 140.
Oh, is that the correction? We didn't pull that? We just corrected it in the book?
Oh.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Mhm.
Understand.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Right, I'm sorry, can we do the correction like that?
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
It was just added wrong.
Yeah, it could have been with the other ones, but we didn't, and that's fine. You can do a vote on that.
Okay, so 100, 140 for purchasing assistant for 50,499.
So moved.
Second.
Sue, roll call.
Councilman Casio,
Yes.
Councilwoman Feeney,
Yes.
Councilman Sears,
Yes,
Councilwoman Velez,
Yes.
Council President Morgan.
Yes. And sorry, Steve, I didn't mean to jump on you. I thought I did something wrong.
No,
again.
no,
I was
it's
like, what
okay.
is that?
It's okay. I was just making sure that was a change. That's all.
Okay.
It's okay.
Yeah.
No big deal.
All right. Okay, so we pulled 100, 120 for administrative secretary at 58,000. Who pulled that? Okay,
Stephen Tom.
okay.
Yeah, that's a
A merit and market increase.
$14,000 jump. That's huge. Everyone else is getting their 2%. What has this person's done to exhibit the merit or the market? The market's what you pay.
yeah, we get an explanation of the market value compared to experience. Like, how does that coordinate? When you put market, what are they looking at? for
Like the
market value?
range of, right.
Well, where are they
Where does it
looking
start?
at
Where
this?
does it end? And based on experience? Mr. Tovo, can you help answer that, please?
Yeah, and looking around Bergen County, your administrative assistants are starting in the low 40 range and going up to the mid 60s and beyond. We're looking at an employee that has 20 years experience and, is invaluable to the township. So it's time that salary reflected the experience and the value brought to the township because of his many years of talent and expertise. So we're in my opinion, we're putting this number, on the low side of right.
May I speak about
Of course,
this position?
just no names, but yes.
Okay. This particular person is very experienced. Anytime there is a question, I've had a question, or need assistance or guidance, this person has been on top of their game, and been able to answer and direct me as needed. So I agree with Mr. Tovo. This person is invaluable.
Do you want to make a motion?
I would like to make a motion.
I'll second. Sue, roll call.
What's the motion?
Oh, sorry. For the, what is the motion?
For the 58,000? Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes.
That's what I thought.
Councilman Casio,
No.
Councilwoman Feeney,
Yes.
Councilman Sears,
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez,
Yes.
Council President Morgan.
Yes.
I would just want to make a statement on merit and market, how we deal with employees. I hope that is dealt evenly across all the employees. We have merit and market. Thank you.
I don't know. Okay.
Whose cell phone is going off?
So floating staff, 100, 160 for 25,502. I wanted that pulled as well, but no, I didn't. I think I wrote a note. There's two staff members in that. There's two floats. One is a part-time, right? And one is a full-time?
That was,
That was my note.
They're both part-time.
Both part-time. Okay.
yeah, that was my question. It covers both positions?
It does,
Okay.
And last year was one position?
correct.
Okay. And what's the split? Hours.
Well, that tends to vary. It depends on how busy the respective departments they're working in. It's about 12 to 15 hours per week.
I'm sorry, in total or
No, each.
each? Okay. And they're not taking any duties from their other positions at the same time? And how do we record that?
I'm not sure I understand that question.
Okay, two floating staff, right?
Correct.
Question is, those floating staff already work in the building?
They do.
Okay, and how do you record when they're floating, when they're going to other positions other than their assigned position?
It's recorded on their timesheets.
So if person A is in, we'll just say Department X, and they're from, and that's their main job, right? And they go to Department Y. How is that recorded? They punch out and punch back in a different department.
We don't have a punch in, punch out system.
What's the system that you use?
To give you an example, our machine or floater,
You have to-
Oh, I can't hear you.
You have to speak closer.
I'm right on top of this, so I couldn't get any closer.
Okay.
You're good there.
Our most senior floater primarily floats between tax and administration to fill in for the administrative assistant when they're out. The second part-timer at this point is primarily in purchasing, but has assisted in recreation as well.
But there's no documentation recording what hours they're spent where, correct?
Well, specifically, no, because to give you an example, on an average day, if the administrative assistant is out, The number one floater will periodically come down, check phone messages, route those accordingly, and then go back to her other duties.
Okay. Thank you for the explanation.
Mr. Tovo,
Yes.
regards to those two people, are they performing their duties sufficiently and you're happy with their performance currently?
Very much so.
Thank you.
Just a question, when they float to one location per day for a few hours? Or is it wherever they're needed on that specific day?
Typically, it's not an entire day. It's part of a day, assisting or backing up, another department that may need it when, for example, when somebody might be out or somebody may have taken a sick day and some coverage is needed there, they will fill in as best they can and then return to their normal duties.
Okay, so it's just a total number of hours for that particular day. It's irrelevant which department.
Correct.
I don't have, I think everyone needs to get paid what they're due, what they're supposed to do. But, never mind. I'm going to leave that one. Okay, so.
Mr. Tovo, I just have one more question. The floating staff, they currently are fulfilling jobs that need to be done in the building and have been performing these duties for how many years past?
Our number one floater, 10 plus years. Our number two floater within the last 6 months.
Okay, thank you.
Are they paid at the same rate?
They're not.
One's salaried and one is hourly.
Well, they're actually both hourly because their hours can vary. One is slightly higher than the other on their hourly rate. The senior of the two.
Oh, it looks like you have a total up there and then one's by hour.
Says, I don't know if we can say it.
That can be corrected when we do the actual salary ordinance.
Okay. All right, so we're going to vote on this 100-160 for $25,502. Can I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Sue, roll call.
Councilman Cassio,
Yes.
Councilwoman Feeney,
Yes.
Councilman Sears,
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez,
Yes.
Council President Morgan.
Yes. And then Councilwoman Velez, you wanted 100-170 pulled?
Just a question, really. I know there's been conversation about sometimes wanting the grant consultant. I'm sorry, that was a different question. I just wanted to know what the contract for the grant consultant looks like in terms of how many grants do we apply for? What kind of numbers does he or she bring in? And does it merit the 30,000?
And Councilwoman Velez, I'd like to just add one item there, is I would actually request if this could go out for RFP this year for the consultant to see what else we get back for contracts.
Basically, I just want to know what kind of grants are we getting in comparison to what it is costing us?
That's for you, Mr. Tovo.
Yes.
Okay.
My personal dealing with a grant writer, I find it to be very efficient and very helpful. And I think his success rate with grants has been very good. His assistance with FEMA grants or FEMA refund money has been invaluable as well. And that's something we don't even pay him to do. He just helps us with that. His contract will be up, I believe, to May or June. So we have the ability to go out to an RFP on that. I will tell you that a lot of the responses we got last time may have been a lower amount as far as their stipend may go or their salary, but then we had to pay per grant applied for. And it doesn't matter whether it was won or lost. So that number really, we had no control over that. Under this current format and monetary scheme, you know, whether we go after one or we go after 100, that's covered for that amount.
But are we going after 100? That's the problem, because if we're only going after the lower end, we're paying more than,
Well, I can
you know,
see
so
it.
there's a risk to both of those scenarios.
Just remember that there's a lot of grants out there that people refer to often that we just simply don't qualify for.
But
Okay?
we have to apply for them to figure out that we don't qualify.
No, because like a lot of the Bergen County grant funds out there for park redevelopment and all that, because of the income of the town, we just flat out don't fit the criteria to apply.
With all due respect, I'm going to just disagree, because there's been our neighboring towns who've gotten grants that we definitely should have gotten, that are to our north, who are just as affluent and just have just as much, you know.
I can tell you firsthand directly from, you know, from the county themselves to me, sorry, you can't apply for that. You don't fit the criteria. It's going to go to towns that have a greater need.
Well, I've gotten grants from the county, not big ones, 600, 1,000. It just doesn't make sense when
I just don't want to leave money on the table.
Right.
So
Mr. Tovo, do you recall what our grant pulling last year was in total?
It was over $170,000.
Okay,
I don't have an exact number, but I know it was
general is fine.
So this is 170 is what he brought in last year, he or she.
correct. And that's not counting any FEMA reimbursements.
We spent 30, so you brought in $150,000 worth of grants. 140.
Yes.
We keep in mind that we are going to apply for some open space funding, which this particular grant writer is very well versed in and will be very helpful in that process.
I'm just wondering if we worked with a grant consultant that worked off, and I'm sorry, I don't know the right
Commission?
terminology, but yes, if he or she worked off commission, then perhaps they'll be more hungry to get us qualified for other grants.
Agreed.
Yeah, I can say commissioned grant writers are for the most part a thing of the past. That was popular probably about 10 years ago. And, grant writers started to change their formula for billing because, they were only going after the bigger jobs because they wanted the payday. But when they weren't getting them, they were actually losing money.
We're calling for a commission.
How long have we had grant writers? Has that always been a thing?
No,
No.
very, very recent within the last
If we look at the
16, maybe.
2018, we didn't have any money for a grant writer and grant consultant, so
I believe 19 was our first year.
19.
2019 was our first year.
Yes.
Okay. I'm saying, could we try
I
a
was just gonna
commission?
say, right. I
grant
think it's
writer.
worth, what is it? Is it a contract? Is it a yearly thing with the grant consultants, Mr. Tova?
Yes, it is.
It's a yearly thing. So I think, and I just the rest of the council, I don't want to speak for the town without you supporting this. But I think for me as a taxpayer, it would be prudent to try at least for 1 year and see if maybe that alternative way of being billed actually benefits us greater than this blanket $30,000, and hopefully you get us a lot of grants with that. So I think it would be worth almost the risk of gambling that. What do you guys think?
I think it should go out for RFP like I requested before. Once it goes out for RFP, then we'll see the other contracts that come in from different types of grant writers.
RFP.
Those RFPs are shared with us, right? We get to see those proposals?
Yes, yes, we're supposed to get them to review, yes.
When we first had it, we set the two council persons and might have been administrator sat in on the two that we interviewed over in the senior center. So I forgot exactly how it worked out, but we weren't able to make the decision. The decision was in the mayor's hands. So both candidates were pretty good. One was on the low end, one was on the high end. And I believe one might have been the, I guess you call it percentage there of the takings, one of those.
Okay,
So
commission.
yeah.
Okay, so Mr. Tovo, I think that the council feels that Councilwoman Feeney has a good suggestion.
Well, just 1 second.
Okay.
Sorry. The RFP, correct me if I'm wrong, it goes to the lowest bid?
No, it's not. You're just sending out proposals.
Yeah.
It's a proposal
proposals.
with your criteria that you want to meet. It's a bid. It's
Okay.
basically a bid, and they send back their thing.
So-
If you want to meet with them, you can. So it doesn't award anything.
It's like an
It's just-
interview.
It's an interview. They're
An
sending you their
interview.
resume, basically.
Okay.
Is what it
Okay.
is, with your criteria.
Yeah. All right, because I am in agreement with Council President that maybe we try with a commission base and see if that yields us more funds than the way we're going now.
I'm sorry,
Okay.
Daisy, I apologize. Mr. Tovo, so this line has to be funded because his contract expires at the end of, did you say June or August or something like that?
So he said May.
I
heard
forgot what he said. I know he
June.
said a month. I
I
didn't
heard
remember what he said, June. Okay, so at least half a year has to be funded,
Okay.
correct? So
Well, wouldn't we
You
want
wanna-
to, if we have a contract, bring a new grant writer in? So if we don't have funding in the line,
I didn't say not to
the
fund it.
rest
I'm
of the
just-
year, excuse me, the rest of the year, then we don't have money for a grant writer. Correct?
Yeah, that's correct. That's exactly right.
That's a point that we should talk about, because if the money's not in the budget, then we're the rest of the year without a grant writer for 6-7 months.
I didn't say we weren't going to fund it. I'm just asking when it was going to expire. Okay, so we have funded at least half of this, right? It was $30,000 a year. We're going to pay this guy up until June, right? June or May.
Mhm.
It's got to be at least 15. And if we're going to hire someone, we're going to have to have money in the line, obviously. I'm just asking when it expired. So
That's what I'm
It's still
trying to
gotta-
look up.
it's still got to be funded regardless. And if we get someone who does it on a per grant basis, then that money can go back into 2025's budget.
Right.
So
It's a
whatever we
three-year
don't use,
It's a yearly contract or?
it's usually a yearly contract, yes.
Mr. Tovo, can you tell us his contract
She's
ends
looking it
June?
up right now.
I'm trying to find it.
Just
She's
when
trying to
when does his contract officially end? Him?
Either May or June.
Okay,
Okay.
May or
Yeah.
June, okay.
Okay. All right. So I think that's a good point that Council Vice President made, that we still have to keep that line item there, not necessarily the current, person, but that the money has to be there for whomever takes that role. So,
I'll motion for the 30,000.
okay, I'll second.
Oh, do we need the 30,000 if we're only going half year?
Well, then Councilman Cassio and Councilwoman Feeney were saying, although the half year would be, that person currently in it would take their part of it, we still would have to have a second person to be able to pay them. So you have to leave that.
Okay.
Mhm.
I mean, if we hire the same person, you're going to need it anyway.
So that money stays in that line, not to that person.
Okay, understood. Thank you.
Correct? That money stays in that line,
That's-
not to that person.
That's correct.
Right, you're 100% right.
Okay.
Okay.
Need for roll call?
Yes.
Councilman Cassio,
Yes.
Councilwoman Feeney,
Yes.
Councilman Sears,
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez,
Yes.
Council President Morgan.
Yes. Page 2. These are salaries we're going to talk about, but-
Done in market call.
All right. Page 2. Administrative office supplies, $3,000. Administrative postage, $9,000. Books and subscriptions, $100. Dues and conferences, $1,500.
Pull it.
Travel and mileage stipend, $600. Copy machine, $1,950. Furniture and equipment, $1,500. Advertisements, $750. And training, $2,500. I want that one pulled. Okay. So motion to approve all except for 100, 250, which is dues and conferences at 1,500, and administrative training at 2,500.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
Sue, roll call.
Councilman Cassio,
Yes.
Councilwoman Feeney,
You're muted.
you're muted. Hold on.
Oh, sorry. I was coughing. I muted myself. Yes.
Councilman Sears,
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez,
Yes.
Council President Morgan.
Yes. Amount, administrative dues and conferences, 100-250 for 1,500. Councilman Cassio, is that it, right? Yeah, pulled that one, yep.
Just look at the past history. It hasn't been spent. So I want to reduce that by $500. Unless you want to reduce it more, that's fine.
500, I'll agree to 500.
To reduce it by 500.
Mhm.
So it's 1,000 you want to bring it to?
Yeah, unless you want to make it less than that, but
4,957.
957.
Mr. Tovo? Mr. Tovo,
Yes.
is this just for you or is this for anybody else?
Well, I was waiting to be invited to the conversation. In large part, the two items pulled do tie to one another. I personally have to take courses for the municipal housing liaison, which have not recently been offered. And we expect they will resume again this year. That'll leave up the lion's share of the training portion. But then once that's done, there's going to be dues involved with belonging to the appropriate association. So we keep our updates on that position. And yes, it does. To the first question, it does not apply to just me, dues and conferences for the administrative staff.
If we could put that on the line next time as a note so that we can see that and not necessarily, we could have inadvertently reduced it and not meant to. So
this covers
administrative staff and administrator for conferences.
But
Is this?
has it always covered that group of people? Because it hasn't been used.
They didn't use it the last couple of years because of COVID. Keep that in mind. A lot of the stuff was canceled.
But they also, prior to COVID, it's
It's
still
$998.
Prior, I don't know if they,
prior to COVID, hasn't been used. The whole total hasn't been used either.
Mr. Tovo, can you speak to that?
Well, again, all I know is from speaking to employees that were here prior to myself, and it was not encouraged to go to conferences. Now, obviously, we have a change in view on that, where we do want our employees to keep up with their training through memberships and conferences. 2019 was, there more was spent then, but we were still determining what were the appropriate, conferences and groups to belong to. But we kind of got shut down after that. So I think in reality, with things turning to a greater sense of normalcy, we'll be able to utilize more of this.
So is that 1,500 inclusive of the NJLM in November? And if so, how many people will that be covering?
That can cover anybody in administration. I would say that would be certainly, myself. I'd like to get our rec coordinator down there, and then whatever other employees need to get CEUs.
But then a few lines below talks about training for 2,500. So is this different training at the conferences?
Well, this training is typically for training outside of the lead conference. So as I outlined, there are a number of classes I have to take for municipal housing liaison. So we need to fund that in order for those courses to be accomplished.
Okay.
Okay, so there's a motion. Did somebody motion or?
I motioned 1,000. on
Yeah,
that one.
let's see.
I think Tom seconded, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
Right. So we'll call you. Sorry.
Councilman Cassio,
Yes.
Councilwoman Feeney,
No,
Councilman Sears,
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez,
Yes.
Council President Morgan.
Yes.
So it's reduced to 1,000.
Okay, and then 100-370 for 2,500. That was what we were just talking about. It looks like in 2021, only $731 was used. Closer to the 2,500 in 2020, in 2019, 1944, in 2018, 955. So it's kind of all over the place.
It's really a tough one to call because the training is constantly changing with the state,
Right.
and it's making more demands on administrator, clerks.
Right.
And, so I think we should keep that because the way the state's rolling out changes now,
Mm-hmm.
we may have to, bring people up to speed.
Council President,
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion for the full 2,500.
Is there any more discussion before you make that motion?
We could still discuss after the motion too.
Okay. No, it doesn't sound like there is, so I'll second. Roll call, Sue, for 2,500.
Councilman Cassio,
Yes.
Councilwoman Feeney,
Yes,
Councilman Sears,
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez,
Yes.
Council President Morgan.
Yes. Page 3.
So this is done.
Yes.
Mhm.
Page 3, miscellaneous, administrative miscellaneous. 1,000. Computer software, 14,000. It's from the new tracking software. That's the note.
Yeah. Pull it. I want to discuss it.
Okay. Computer maintenance, 35,900.
Wait, that's blank, isn't it?
No, that's that's a
Control line.
control total. That's
Oh, I'm
control
sorry.
number.
I'm sorry. You're right. Yep, you're right. Sorry about that. And then IT services, 24,000.
Can we pull that one?
IT?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So 100-810, 14,000 for computer software. Who wanted that pulled? Steve.
So what are we tracking? What does the tracking software do, Mr. Tovo?
It has the ability to do tracking on activity for virtually any department we choose to use it for. We are starting with code enforcement and zoning enforcement, so that every complaint that comes in is electronically logged with follow-ups. Residents can attach photos to it, and it automatically will prompt the official, whoever that may be, for follow-up dates and closures. And we can run reports on a monthly basis to show council the progress for each one of the respective departments. And as of now, what's that?
I'm sorry, go ahead. I cut you off.
It's okay. As of right now, we're looking at first code and zoning, DPW, and most likely police, because the more we look at their modules, there's a lot there that could work well for, complaint reporting as well. So at the end of the day, I think we'll have the majority of the departments have at least some use for this. And, the one part of the software that I really like is I've never seen software as robust as this in regards to the reports they can pull. So we'll have something that we can show the council on a monthly basis or as needed so they can see the activity in the department.
Mr. Tova, what's the name of the software?
It's called GoGov.
Right. And this is what's going to be used also like when the building department, when they call in, correct? The mayor had spoken about this in his monthly meetings,
Right.
monthly reports, not monthly meetings, sorry.
Yeah, the building department, please keep in mind, will be utilizing two different softwares. One is their spatial data logic, and as for their actual permitting, or as far as their incoming complaints and so forth, that would go into this program.
Will the,
I'm sorry, go ahead. please.
will the council be getting a report of,
Yeah, we expect to be operational near the end of April on this. And then shortly thereafter, once we have the kinks ironed out, we are going to start opening it to the public. And once that occurs, we can start sharing reports with the council, hoping by a little beyond mid-year.
okay, because I'd like to see progress. So if there are complaints and then it's being resolved, I'd like to see that.
That's precisely what this does.
Right.
Okay.
Mhm.
Excluding the PD, is this tracking vehicle usage?
It is not.
It is not.
What was your
Because-
question? I'm sorry.
He
The
said,
question was, is it tracking vehicle usage excluding the PD? Because we would not want that to be tracked.
Mr. Tova, in regards to this, it will assign, I'm assuming it will assign tasks and it will let you know when tasks are overdue or inquiries back to residents are overdue.
All the above.
so does the training for this come out of that cost?
It does.
And this is an annual fee?
It is. And we already begun the training.
Is this software as a service? Is this SaaS or is it local continuity? Is it on premise?
It is all cloud-based, so other than the actual link to it is not.
Okay, that's great. It's cloud-based.
All right, so I'm going to motion for the 14,000.
I'll second.
Councilman Cassio,
Yes.
Councilwoman Feeney,
Yes.
Councilman Sears,
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez,
Yes.
Council President Morgan.
Yes. Okay, and then 103,200, IT services for 24,000.
Yes, that actually went with the software. All these IT services, the increase will include all these. I know we've talked a couple of times about software updates. So all the IT services will cover all of that, all those different line items.
That's a question. You're asking a
Yes,
question?
yes,
Okay,
I'm
Mr.
sorry.
Tovo, that was a question.
Will these IT services be covering all these different computer software updates?
Well, no, for the most part, the new software we've added, any updates there would be included in that software line item. The increase we're looking for in IT services is we need to make a change in our security procedures. So we go to dual authentication before somebody can get into the system. There will be a monthly recurring charge for that service. But with the nature of things, we really don't see any other way to better protect the township.
Okay.
So this service is all the computers in the administrative field if something goes awry. Is that correct?
Yes. Well, we say you're right. This is IT
Mr. Tova, you're
services.
mumbled. Come back.
This is for IT services. When you say something goes awry, if a machine breaks, that's going to be a hardware cost. It's not going to be an IT service.
Understood.
Is this is still the same provider we currently have? Correct, Mr. Tovo?
Yes, it is.
So like when we have a problem with our email, that's who we're going to, correct?
Correct.
Did we ever RFQ for this position, these services?
We have not recently. I have to check on his contract expiration.
You know, if we're doing RFQs for some positions, I think we should kind of make it a point. Again, it's not the council's purview to do that. It's the administration's purview to do that. But I would suggest that you RFQ for all positions, especially in IT,
All vendors.
all vendors.
Mhm. Okay, so is there a motion for this 24,000?
I'll motion for the 24,000.
No second.
Councilman Cassio?
Could I still discuss for 1 second? I just was looking at the other page. And this is a fixed cost, Mr. Tovo?
It's a fixed amount. Obviously, it's going to be based on what, how often those IT services are needed.
There's a note that says increased services.
Yeah, and the increased services are going to be for the dual authentication because there has to be monitors.
Say it again, what is the increased services? It's me, I'm telling you, it's me, I can't hear you.
Primarily for security on our systems. And we need to move to dual authentication, and so there will be a monthly fee to do so. It's minimal, but we have to make sure the door remains closed here.
Okay.
We're getting a lot more. We're getting a lot more, attempts to breach our systems.
Okay. Okay. Yep. Okay. Councilman Cassio, you have any other questions before we?
No, I'm just looking at the past where we put in an amount and we overspent the last 2 years. I'll take that in 19 and 20. So I was hoping to get a fixed service, a fixed amount, so we know what the number is. But if that's the way this vendor is billing, that's the way this vendor is billing. Again, I hope we go out for RFQ if we get a fixed cost.
Well, keep in mind, part of his base payment is contractual and it covers his services. But when it comes to new things we have to add on or new things he has to configure so that we're compatible with Zoom or anything else we've had to do over the last couple of years, that is an add-on service.
Mhm.
Okay.
So was that jump from 19 to 20 because of having to jump to Zoom?
That simply was, when we were compelled to go everything remote, we needed to do some upgrades and corrections. We maintain communications.
Yeah, okay. That would make sense. That
I
jump.
understood.
And then now 2021, we're back down a little bit. So.
Okay, so we can do roll call.
Councilman Cassio?
Yes.
Councilwoman Feeney?
Yes.
Councilman Sears?
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez?
Yes.
Council President Morgan?
Yes. Mayor, salary and wages, 10,443. Mayor office supplies, nothing. Mayor subscriptions and books, 50. Mayor dues, meetings and conferences, 1850.
Cool.
Mayor miscellaneous, 200, and trophies, 600.
I'd like to pull that. Is that a question?
The trophies?
Yes.
All right, so can I have a motion to approve everything except for the mayor dues, meetings and conferences, and the trophies?
So
I'll second. Sue, roll call.
Councilman Cassio,
yes.
Councilwoman Feeney,
Yes.
Councilman Sears,
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez,
Yes.
Council President Morgan.
Yes. Okay, 110-250 for 1850 for dues, meetings and conferences. Steve?
Can we not go off 350? The mayor hasn't spent them over $12,000 and
$1,200.
$1,200. Yes, $1,200 in 2 years. Knock that down.
The mayor has increased the amount of meetings he's been attending for the last 2 years. If you notice, he's now attending meetings for the airplanes flying overhead. He attends conferences with the mayors, and now he's attending conferences with the fair share housing. So he actually has been attending more meetings than he previously. You can tell with COVID, but I hate to see the mayor get restricted. 'Cause in 2018, he just about hit that whole number. 2019, the same thing, and then COVID hit. Naturally, you didn't attend any meetings, but now the meetings are increasing. I've known,
And in person.
and they're in person to
Right now,
both.
yeah.
Council President?
1 second. Are you completed?
Yeah, I think I understand where Steve's coming, but the mayor has increased the amount of meetings. He's actually being forced to go, in a sense that he wants to participate with the aerodynamics, with fair share housing and affirmative flooding. So he's attending all of these meetings more than what he actually has. So I think that is a fair price for the mayor.
Okay, Council Vice President Feeney, did you have something you wanted to add?
Yeah, I agree with Councilman Sears. In all fairness, with COVID for the last 2 years, a lot of the meetings have been canceled. Everything, hasn't been happening, and now things are ramping up. And with the resources that we need, from grant information to drainage information to rec information, it's important he has the wherewithal and the bandwidth to do what he needs to do as mayor. So I'll make a motion for the 1,850 for this line.
I'll second.
Okay, Sue, roll call.
Councilman Cassio,
No.
Councilwoman Feeney,
Yes.
Councilman Sears,
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez,
Yes.
Council President Morgan.
Yes. All right, and then 110-790, Mayor Trophies. That was Councilwoman Velez.
I apologize. That was an error.
Oh, okay,
Sorry. Looking at the wrong.
no problem. So for 600 for trophies, I'll motion. Can I have a second?
Second.
Okay, Sue, roll call.
Councilman Cassio,
Yes.
Councilwoman Feeney,
Yes.
Councilman Sears,
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez,
Yes.
Council President Morgan.
Yes. All right, page 5, Township Council salary and wages, $32,520. Council office supplies, $100. Council subscriptions and books, $125. Council dues, meetings and conferences, $3,000. Council professional and then that's it. Okay. Anyone want to poll? Okay, motion to approve the page 5.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilman Casio,
Yes.
Councilwoman Feeney,
Yes.
Councilman Sears,
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez,
Yes.
Council President Morgan.
Yes. Page 6. Council miscellaneous, 300. Council trophies and plaques, 600. Township, did you want to pull that one? No? Okay.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna go to 500 and 790 because we really haven't used it that much.
Okay, so we're pulling that one. We'll discuss it right after. Okay. Township clerk, from 120-110, 96,500.
Pull it.
Pull that for discussion.
Assistant to clerk, 40,500.
We can pull that for discussion.
Pull it.
Okay, so going back to Councilman Cassio's 111-790 for $600, that's trophies and plaques from the council.
We haven't spent it in a long time. I think we just go $300 should be plenty to cover that.
I'll second that.
Can I,
Oh, you want to talk?
just a question? So in the past, what trophies have been awarded? Like
Scouts, Girl Scouts.
from the council, not from the mayor?
Yes.
Police.
Not trophies, it's plaques.
Ambulance
Good
corps.
job.
It's usually a plaque for service, for long-term service, very infrequently used.
So my recommendation is then if we have this, then let's use it. I'm sure there are scouts or
What does the
citizens that
mayor's
could.
trophy money come out of though? What about that one? What do we
That would
need?
come, that means the mayor can't make any accommodations to anybody in the town. So that would be, if we don't have it to use, then council can't make recommendations to award a plaque to, say, an Eagle Scout or a Gold Award, Girl Scout. It would have to come from the mayor only.
I mean, I think we should. There's
I agree.
award people.
We should.
If we have it, then let's use it.
And we got 3 Eagle Scouts that are coming up. Might be something for.
Especially over the last 2 years, there's been a lot of residents that have stepped up and we need to recognize them. So
I do wish I knew about this line
Ukrainian
item.
thing coming on. A lot of residents stepped up for that.
yeah, I wasn't aware of it. So-
Yeah, I wasn't either. And I actually, when I do the awards for cheer and all of that, that was my initiative. I didn't realize that I just paid for it. I didn't know. So
Yeah.
it's good to know that it's here. I think we could use it more. I think we could definitely make it a positive since we've been budgeting for it all along.
Yeah.
I have 2 awards, just so you know, already coming out of this line for this year that need to be awarded, but because the building was closed, we didn't issue them.
Okay, so can I have a motion to approve this?
A motion for the 600.
I'll second. Sue, roll call.
Councilman Casio,
No?
Councilwoman Feeney,
Yes.
Councilman Sears,
Oh, yes.
Councilwoman Velez,
Yes.
Council President Morgan.
Yes. 120-110, Township Clerk, 96,000.
What do we do with council miscellaneous?
I didn't have it pulled.
I have this. Councilman Casio pulled it.
I pulled it.
You did?
Yeah,
Miscellaneous?
I did.
I didn't have it. I'm sorry. Okay. Okay, so floor is yours.
Same thing. Barely use it. So
What would come out of that? It says council miscellaneous, and I've been here, this is going on our 3rd year, and I don't,
Let's say.
once in a while,
We don't have
donuts.
coffee and donuts at the next budget meeting. That would come out of there.
well, why don't we have coffee and donuts anymore? Like, I haven't
We
seen
That's a
usually,
good question.
do. Someone usually buys them.
Yeah.
We're so generous.
You're the someone,
Usually it's
Steve. You're the
council
I'll,
president.
I'll supply donuts next time. I'll be happy
Yeah.
to.
All
And
right.
coffee. You like coffee?
Yeah.
I like
Coffee, Pop,
coffee.
stay up all night.
I like
Okay, you got
coffee.
it.
I think there
I never charge the council.
are these line items, then we need
You know, the
to.
little line items add up.
Yeah.
100 here, 200 there. You'd be surprised how quickly you can save $10,000.
Well, they used it in 2018. You guys used it. So I wasn't here, but it was a significant usage.
Now we know why, Desiree. That's why they
Yeah,
haven't.
they were all eating
Yeah.
coffee. They were all eating
I wish
donuts.
we
and
were.
coffee.
Last year we did trophy and award. We did a florist. And we did
Trophy and awards should come out of its own line.
No, it wasn't there.
In 20, I'm sorry, are you looking?
And name, there was.
2018, right?
1,
Oh, nameplates.
500,
Okay. 111,500.
right, nameplates, and that's council nameplates. I've gotten nameplates.
Okay. So we don't need new nameplates for this
Yeah.
next year. So that could be in the year following if necessary. But we don't need them for this year, so that doesn't need to be budgeted.
We'll not go for 100. Make it 200.
I can live with 200.
I can too.
Me too.
That covers enough donuts and coffee.
So we have a motion from
Councilman Cassia.
For 200?
Yes.
There's
I'll second. I'm sorry. I'll second. I was just writing, doing the math with other stuff.
Councilman Cassio,
Yes.
Councilwoman Feeney,
Yes.
Councilman Sears,
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez,
Yes.
Council President Morgan.
Yes. Okay, so now we'll go to 120-110. Township clerk, 96,500.
So let me remind you to the previous increase, in particular section of the code here. Merit and market. I don't see that under the township clerk's name. She has been, in my opinion, the backbone of all my grants, the backbone of all my research. She is always available. That's merit. What is her market value around the valley here? Are we consistent? Are we even with the other towns? I really would like to know that.
Council President.
Yes.
So I was curious too, Tom, and I surveyed 5 surrounding towns. And currently our clerk is at the midpoint for 5 towns with similar size budgets and households. At the current salary, I would like to point out, I do feel the clerk brings a lot to the table. However, there were several large increases over the past few years. And, there are a few other members of the building who I'd like to look to bring more up to market. We did give a increase last year. We went from 81.2 to 89.5.
So then if she's only at midpoint, why don't we move her higher?
Midpoint.
We moved several people in this budget a lot higher than 2%.
No, midpoint is not, midpoint is, just to clarify, midpoint is not 2%. Midpoint is the midpoint of the salary range for that position.
Well, don't you think her merit should bring her higher past the midpoint? I do.
Currently, I feel as though there's been several significant increases over the last 5 years that where she's at the midpoint now, which is where in professional careers is where most people should be, not above the midpoint. This is reasonable in the salary range for this position in Bergen County. What she's at now it's probably a little bit over the midpoint.
Look like over the midpoint to me.
Well, the other, like New Milford, they're at 87.5. So it is over the midpoint.
Well, again, Sue or the clerk does a fantastic job. She really does. And she's been here for a long time and she does an outstanding job. I don't think there's anyone better at her job than the current person. But that being said, if everyone is getting 2%, which everyone should be getting 2%, merit, tenure, or not, it's way above the 2%. And no disrespect to the person or the position, but you should be getting the same raises across the board for all positions at 2%. That's been my standard for 9 years. 2%, 2%, 2%. And, you know, we talk about merit and market value. When I go to the market, I always look for a good sale. I never ask to pay more than I have to. And when you give people merit and market value, that's what you're doing. You're paying more than you should.
Once we reach, I'm sorry,
No.
go ahead.
Okay. And I think it's fair for every position to go 2%. Merit doesn't count because merit can be skewed any way you want it. There's no standard for that. There's no checking the boxes. I can think this person doing an excellent job and the next person can really think they're doing a sucky job, for lack of a better term. Okay, so that doesn't fly with me. If we're getting a good value, I'm going to give the best value to the township that I can. So again, it's not this particular position. It's all the positions should be getting 2% or 3% or whatever the council decides across the board. And that's how I stand. And again, no disrespect to any particular person in any position, but that's fair is fair for everyone. Not we single out a few because we think they're notorious or the market bears that. Obviously, they wouldn't be in the position when we talk about market. If they thought they were really below market and they were getting not what they deserve, then they should move on to where they can find that position and that salary that they so desire, like any other job in private industry. So that's my comment on that. And that'll be my comment on all salaries going forward.
Council President?
I would agree with Dr. Cascio, but Sue goes above and beyond.
Tom?
Oh, I'm sorry. The particular person, the clerk administrator, I'm sorry, goes above and beyond the requirements for her position. And if we're throwing merit and we're throwing market value, we're going to be, you can't put a market value on experience and knowledge of doing this job. It's not an easy job. And I think we're falling short on some of the people here and rewarding people a little bit more on the backside of this.
Council President?
Give me 1 second. Go ahead. Go ahead, Council Vice President.
I just added up the research I had done. So just so for point of reference, in the Pascack Valley, the average salary of the clerk is $80,672. Just so everyone's aware.
Where did you get that information?
A few Pascack Valley, a few towns that I pulled together. I just added them up and divided by the number of towns.
Okay, so I'm also looking at, I'm looking at some Pascack Valley base rates as well.
You know what strikes me funny is the clerk in New Milford makes $150,000.
Yeah, but they're also the CFO, Tom.
Right, some things are apples to, apples to oranges. We're not.
There's a lot more than just,
So if
if we're going to
One
not,
person at a time. Go ahead, Tom.
I said, we need to get, and I agree with Dr. Cascio that it's 2% across the board. These special merits and these special conditions does not suit right with the whole community, in a sense, or the people around you that are working with you. I understand that certain people have been overlooked over the years. But how do you overlook a good employee?
Well, unfortunately, we would love to give everybody significant raises because we do have some pretty great employees. So that's not, blanket statement. We're not overlooking a good employee. They're all good. It just, if somebody gets a 2% raise, it doesn't mean they're not good employees. I just wanted to clarify that.
Well, no, nobody's saying they're not good employees. I'm saying we should award good employees.
But can we agree that, or will this be the case if we bring everybody up, or, the people up for discussion to market value? At that point, it'll just remain 2%. Will this be the last time that we make a move to bring them up to market value?
Ms. Velez, I can guarantee you, from my experience on 10 years, every time you bring them up to market value, 2 years later, they
Market
want to go up
changes.
to market value. It's never happened. It will continue to happen that way.
Okay.
And it's not going to go 2%. Guarantee it. Never happens. I really wish the world was like that, but it's not.
Based on the pages that we're going to look at today, there's, I believe, a total of 3 or 4. Right? So if those are the only 3 or 4, then there should be no reason to raise it to market value next year, within a year. And my question is, looking from 2017 till today, has there been an agreement that this particular position has moved up to catch up potentially from the past? Because it hasn't been 2% for all those years.
Yes, Mr. Tova, that question.
And my question is, have we been playing catch up and we're finally, reached the point where we have caught up?
Mr. Tovo, can you answer that?
The number reflected or recommended here in the budget is a salary of $95,000 and meeting expense of an additional $1,500. This
I couldn't
number,
understand.
So he's saying the base is 95,000 and the meeting fee of 1,500 is included in that.
But have we caught up? That's my question.
I'm trying to get there, man.
Okay. Thank you.
This number was agreed to by the council last year. It was agreed to be done in 2 steps. So last year, the number that's reflected.
You have to speak up. You have to speak up. I'm sorry. It's definitely not me this time.
We need to fix this because I'm right on top of this. The number agreed to last year was halfway to the point of the number recommended this year. That is where the council chose to fund this as of last year, based on the request of the employees.
You're trailing off again. So are you saying that with the caveat last year that were going to do half last year and half this year? Because I'm not sure.
Council President?
Correct.
Wait, let Mr. Tovo finish. Go ahead, Mr. Tovo. I'm sorry. You were trailing off, so I can't hear you.
Yes. Last year, the amount you see now, 95, is what was requested. The council felt that was too much for 1 year. So they lowered it to the 89.5 that you see in the budget, with the caveat that we would bring it to the full amount in 2022.
Which is the 96.5?
Yes.
95.
Well, 95 salary plus
15 is
the meeting.
I believe, Mr. Tovo,
I'm sorry, hang on a minute. Was the 89.5 including?
I wanted to clarify something.
Just 1 second, Stace. Was the 89.5 including the 1,500 at that time?
Yes.
Okay, so it is 96.5. It is not 95. 96.5 with including 1,500.
Correct.
Go ahead, Council Vice President.
We had the clarification last year that we would bring it up for review this year because that was based upon my notes that we would go halfway and that we would review it again this year.
I'm looking for a definitive answer. Have we caught up? If we are caught up, then there's no reason why it should go above 2% next year.
You're saying if this number 96.5 catches us up?
Yes.
Okay, so
Because
Mr.
based
Tova,
on-
when you did the salary comparison, was the market value, does this bring this person up to the last bump up to get her to market value?
It does.
And so then next year, the anticipated raise would be,
2%.
Whatever the across the board raise is.
okay. And just FYI, on a side note, Ricky from WCTV said that it is not Zoom. He's hearing you the same way. It's muffled. Maybe it's your audio. I'm not sure.
So I'm going to make a motion for this line 110 to bump it up 2% from the 89,500, and that's $91,290. That's my motion.
Can you guys hear me or no?
Yes, we can hear you.
Mary?
Can you, Steve, I had a little blip here. Can you,
Sure. Yeah,
I'm
no
sorry.
problem. No problem. I want to raise that, or actually lower that number and give her 2% on top of 89.5. And my calculation, if I'm correct, is $91,290. So that's my motion, 91,290.
I'll second.
Sue, roll call.
Councilman Casio,
Yes.
Councilwoman Feeney,
Yes.
Councilman Sears,
No.
Councilwoman Velez,
No.
Council President Morgan.
Yes. So this means that this person is at the, not even up to market value again this year. Is that correct? Is that correct, Mr. Tovo? Does this bring it into the market value arena?
I would say the lower end of it. You know, just to remind everybody, in Bergen County, there's a lot of shared positions. It's not easy to get definitive answers on, you know, some positions. And this year's salary survey provided by the league we're done in a new format. Very, very difficult to discern the numbers or find the numbers even because of the way the breakdown was done. When it was looked at last year, the number reflected in this year's recommended was more in line with what the Bergen County clerks were making,
Which is,
which is the 95,000.
I can't hear you.
Which is the 95,000.
Just going off of what was handed me with 6 different towns, Alton, Washington Township, Hillsdale, Woodcliff Lake, Emerson, Rivervale, and Park Ridge. Okay, at this 91,000, this position now exceeds 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those towns. It now exceeds it. So to me, if it exceeds 5 out of the 6 in surrounding towns, that's market value. I mean, it's numbers.
And Dr. Casio, you know, also they do not have, most of those towns do not have assistants too.
Yeah, but
I couldn't tell you what they
overlooking
have. I
the
don't know.
experience of the person here. Who's got more experience than all those towns.
And
That may be true, but what was told to this individual last year?
it
I
was,
don't know what was told to her.
was said that we would
I was-
review it.
Was it, Mr. Tovo, was there a definitive that we were going to do this, or was it a review? I need this answer because this could change things. That's not, I don't want to go back on my word, but I also don't want to be misled.
All I can do is give you the facts of last year. The number of 95,000 for a salary was brought before the council. The council said no. I recommended to council they could pick another number between the current salary and the recommended, if that would be something more appealing to them. And that's what the council chose to do.
So was there a conversation that stated that we would give half now, meaning 2021, and half in 2022?
I don't recall the exact verbiage, but words to the effect that I would put that number in for 2022, and that's what I did.
And I would go back to the 96.5.
It doesn't, we didn't say that we were going to. We didn't say that we were doing half and half. So
I'm not saying that. I don't recall that. I just recall the direction I was given.
Tom, if you want to make a motion to change that number, you're more than welcome.
Yeah, I would like to make the motion that we go back to the 96.5.
I just don't want to keep playing catch up.
right, we're pushing it off, we're pushing it off, we're pushing
Yes.
it off.
But we are at where we should be. We're not playing catch up because the towns I reviewed, the towns that were given also, this is at the, we have caught up now. We're early on in this person's
We're
tenure
caught up.
with the town. They weren't, and now they
Council
are.
President, I made a motion.
You did. It's still open for discussion. Daisy, you were going to say something?
I'm just going, again, I wasn't here, so unfortunately, I don't know if we can go back to see what was discussed. You know, one person,
You can table anything you want, just for less.
I'm
If you
sorry,
want to table something and the council goes along with it, you can bring it up at another budget
This-
meeting if you'd like.
This would be in budget meeting minutes, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So would you like to table this until we have budget meeting minutes that confirms one way or the other whether we did say something like that? Because otherwise it's probably going to stay at 91 too.
I'd like to resolve it, but I don't think it's gonna go.
Well, we have a vote that's been completed. It can always get re-voted later on. It doesn't have to, it's not that it's closed for the rest of the budget meetings either. Keep that in mind.
You can really go back to any line you so desire. The very first thing we did the other night, if you really have a problem with it, you can always ask to go back. There's nothing wrong with that. It's not like this is it. The only time it's a final document is when you take the final vote for the budget,
For the
total
budget, right. All right. So I think that
Okay,
that's going to be a possibility to revisit any of these numbers. But most specifically this particular item
I think 'cause
with a little
it's
more, yeah.
It's a little cloudy as to what was decided last year, and I'd like some clarity on that.
Make a motion to table it, Ms. Flores. And I'll second your.
Well, do we need to table it or can we just go back to it? We already voted.
You can reopen it or go back to it. You want to go back to it in a future time, Ms. Velez?
Yes,
Okay.
Okay. So we will most likely be returning to that.
so what happened, I'm sorry, what happens with the vote right now?
Right now it stands. Okay, but
At
we can always go
91
back to it
91 to 90.
Right.
But it'll be revisited.
if that's what you wish.
Yes, please.
All right. And then we have 120-120, assistant to clerk, 40,500.
I'm withdrawing my discussion on that.
Okay.
No, I'm not.
There's a note that says council adjustment. I'm not sure what that is. Referencing?
Again, I pulled it as well. It's the same issue, 2%.
Mr. Tovo, can you explain what the note is, council adjustment?
Yes, it was relayed to me via the clerk that
I can't hear you.
I don't know what I can do to fix this. My mic is working. It was relayed to me by the clerk that the last council president asked.
I can't hear you at all. Can anyone else hear?
No.
I'm sorry, you are drifting.
Oh, again, everything is hooked up and it was,
Don't move, you sound fine.
the clerk relayed to me that last year's council president asked that this salary be adjusted to the number reflected here.
Mr. Tovo, I can hear Mr. Tovo, so do you mind if I relay what he's saying?
Please.
Okay, thanks. So I would have the other budget here. He's correct. I said, last year I requested that this position was very low and at the time, there wasn't a recommendation from the clerk's office who prepares this budget to bring this up to reasonable and to very low market, which is what this number is at now based on my own research. And I had requested that this, in talking to the clerk and with the council last year, we would review this line to bring it higher for the amount of work that this person does and what they're currently doing in that office.
And that's going to completely contradict what we just did.
Well, no, because this person has never been, there's been no significant increase. If you look at this person's history at all, where the previous person, there's been a greater than the normal increase every single year. This person has never received an increase.
What happened in 2019?
Was that a change?
It went from 20 to 24 to 29.
I
In
think
3
they
years, it
went
went up
full-time.
$10,000.
2019 to 2020, it went up.
Mr. Tobo, didn't this person go, is now more hours during that period?
I believe Sue can confirm that she went from part-time to full-time.
When did she go from part-time to full-time? So do you remember?
Probably in, I would say 17 going to 18.
Okay, so 17 to 18 was a $4,000 jump, right? Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
All right. And then from
18
to
to 20,
19,
it's
went up
10,000.
another 5. So that was 2 full-time years, right? 18 and 19, is that correct? And then it went up 6,000 for the next year.
This is based on the notes last year. This was some of the council also participated in this piece too. We said we were going to review it. It wasn't a guarantee. Again, it was a review, not a guarantee.
Why was there no significant increase from 2020 to 2021?
It was just the minimal percentage, Daisy.
That's the percent. That
That
was
was-
1.5.
Right, we did 1.5.
That was 1.5 last year.
Mhm. So it was paused there, or that was just what was decided that year
We did a 1.5 for
across the
yeah,
board?
because of COVID and
Okay.
Not for, some people got hired though that year, just so you know.
Mhm.
Council President?
Mhm.
Have a discussion.
Sure, absolutely. Do you want to resume this discussion? It may be longer.
I would
You want
like
to take a break? Take a break.
Okay,
Yes,
so
5
we're going to actually take a 5-minute break. So we'll be back in 5 minutes.
Recording stopped.
Here we go.
Okay, we're back.
Mr. Toby, you with us?
Yeah, please, make sure you can hear me better. I changed locations.
I couldn't hear a word you said.
Can we buy him a microphone for something?
I'm so sorry, Mr. Tovo. Are you using just the straight up microphone in the laptop or?
I am, yes.
Okay, that time you were clear.
Yeah, I guess it's just tailing off. My concern is if I can't be heard, I don't know how we're gonna get through the remaining pages and with full justification.
Okay, well, we'll do our best. Just maybe speak louder, even though it may be a little bit weird from your end, but just speak louder.
Okay, I'll do the best I can.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so we're going to page 7. Oh, no.
We were still discussing.
I'm sorry, you're right. We were, but that's true. So we were discussing the 120-120, which was assistant to clerk. And if we're going to be increasing greater than 2%, then I'm not comfortable with the decision that was made with the prior one. But that's me.
And I agree with you.
As do I.
So does someone want to raise it more than 2%? Was there something on the floor
For which one? For
120?
For 120?
Was there a?
That's
motion?
way more than 2%, 40,000.
Right, no, I understand that, but was there a motion made?
Oh,
or
right,
not?
you had said 2%, right?
Right, so I'll make a motion for the 2%, which would make it from last year from the 35,525 with 2% would make it 36,235. And someone can check my math on there because my math
It's
is horrible.
correct.
I wasn't a math major.
36,235.
So that's my
That's your motion?
motion, yes.
I don't see, is Councilwoman Feeney still on?
She was. Stacy, you there?
Yeah, sorry, my screen went blank for a second, so. But I'm sorry, and I missed what was said. If someone.
I made a motion to raise 120, 2% to $36,235.
Or, are we on the last line of the page, on page 6?
Yeah, 120, all the way at the bottom, last one.
Thank you. Sorry about that.
The 40,500 is being reduced to the 2% over the 35,525. Okay, so there was no second?
No second, no.
All right, so we have to make a decision. What
I thought this was tabled for
We're on 120.
120.
120. I thought we tabled
No,
120.
we-
we're
Oh,
took a break.
Hmm.
We tabled the.
yeah, I know. Yeah. I'm sorry.
So are we tabling this one as well?
I think we should make a decision. Quite frankly, on both.
I'll make the motion for the 40,500. Is there a second?
Second.
Well, then you have to go back and make a motion for the clerk.
Do one more time.
Actually, we do not actually have to do that. That's a
So-
line, but
Well, you can't do one without the other.
Hang on a minute. Hold on.
just giving my
Daisy's-
opinion.
hang on a minute. Daisy second. It's gonna go to a vote. What's that? Roll call, yes.
Councilman Cassio,
No.
Councilwoman Feeney,
Yes.
Councilman Sears,
No,
Councilwoman Velez,
Yes.
Council President Morgan.
Yes.
then Council President, I would like to go back to 121.10 and vote to give
You're motioning.
to 96,500.
Okay, so you're making a motion to go back
to
to,
back. And if we're doing it for one,
okay, anyone want a second?
Second.
Okay, so Sue, roll call.
Councilman Casio,
No.
Councilwoman Feeney,
She's there.
She muted.
Are you muted, Stace?
no, she,
I was just needed a second, sorry. No, sorry.
okay. Councilman Sears,
yes.
Councilwoman Velez,
Yes.
Council President Morgan.
We just did it for 120-120, so my answer is yes.
That doesn't carry.
Sure does, because it's the total.
Nope.
Total?
Yeah, it's the total.
No, it doesn't, because it was at 91. You already voted at 91, 240. You need 4 to raise it from there. You only got 3. So it doesn't carry.
I'm not sure. because I
No,
don't
it's-
know
I'm telling you, that's how it works.
Come on.
Because that's the new line item.
Yeah, but my motion was to go to give her the 96.5.
Right? So 96.5 is greater than 91.
And yeah,
Right? So if you increase anything on there, once you vote on it, you need 4 affirmatives. You only got the 3.
So when we originally tabled it,
We didn't table
Didn't
it.
table it.
we just said we would go back.
We said we would revisit it, yes. After it was voted on.
Because it was already voted on, right?
Right.
Council President's correct, yes.
Okay, moving on. Page 7,
Wait. So then what's,
it's 91-200. Councilman Casio is correct. And if we find out differently from Mr. Poller, or however that's going to work, I guess we can confirm that with him.
Doing this for 9 years is correct.
Okay.
Could very well be, sir.
All right, I'm
Confirmed.
going to move on to page 7. Township clerk office supplies, 1,500. Township clerk subscriptions and books, 250. Township clerk dues, meetings and conferences, 1,500. Township clerk office equipment repair, 400. Mileage stipend, 600. Copier fees, 1,500.
can I just question on 210? We'd like to increase that another 400, considering if we do pass the landscaping and tree, we're gonna have to buy color permits for the cars and the trucks, and that would be an increase. So if I could
Which
do
line are
it-
you talking about, Tom? I'm not-
120-210, you wanted to pull that?
120-210.
Two then.
Okay, so you wanted to pull that one.
I would add another 400 to that, so it'd be 1,900.
You want
All right, hang on a minute. We're gonna pull that one.
And then.
And then we're gonna go, you want another one?
I just want the 300 to discuss 300 at the bottom.
300?
Yeah.
What's that?
It's copier fees.
Oh,
I just have a question about that. That's all.
Where do you see 300?
at the bottom.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're looking
120,
at
300.
the account number. Okay,
That
I'm
was
sorry. I'm sorry.
The last number, the
Yep.
last 3 numbers. That's what I
Okay.
looked at.
Yep, no worries. So you want to pull that one?
Yeah, just want to discuss it. That's all.
Okay, so then we're gonna approve everything on the page except for 210 and 300.
Yes.
Yes, okay, can I have a motion?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
Sue, roll call.
Councilman Casio,
Yes.
Councilwoman Feeney,
Yes.
Councilman Sears,
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez,
yes.
Council President Morgan.
Yes. All right, so 210 for 1,900. Councilman Sears, you have an increase?
Yes, I want to add
400.
plus 400 to that to make it 1,900.
I'll second.
Considering if we do pass the ordinance for trees and we might need special stickers
Okay.
and going forward.
Makes sense.
Okay.
All right, and Council Vice President second. So roll call.
Councilman Cassio,
Yeah.
Councilwoman Feeney,
Yes.
Councilman Sears,
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez,
Yes.
Council President Morgan.
Yes. And then 120-300.
Yeah, just a question, Sue, is with the copier fees, are we still splitting that between the different departments or no?
No. This
So
is
each one
for the.
This is just your
So this
separate,
is a new copier and includes the copies, but it's also linked to the administrator's copier.
right,
So we have a contract for the two of them and we have a balance that there should be no overages at all this year.
okay, so but you're splitting it between the two, is that correct?
Yeah, we each have a roll monthly fee though, yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's all I want, I'm fine with it.
Yes.
I'm okay with it, but I just
So-
wanted to ask that question.
So 1,500 for copier fees. Dr. Casio, you're gonna motion?
Yeah, motion 1,500 for
All
this.
right,
Second.
All right, Sue.
Councilman Cassio.
Yes,
Councilwoman Feeney,
Yes.
Councilman Sears,
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez,
Yes.
Council President Morgan.
Yes. Page 8, we're almost there. Township clerk advertisement public notice.
pull it.
Okay, I have that pulled also. Township clerk training, 1,500. I'd like that pulled. Code publication, 9,000. That's a significant,
Can we
okay.
call that one?
Yep. Printing, 750. Miscellaneous, 150. Elections, salary and wages, 1,050. Okay, so all except for the advertisement, public notice, the training, and the code publication, we can approve. I'll make a motion.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Cassio,
Yes,
Councilwoman Feeney,
You're muted.
she's coughing,
Oh,
just got your breath.
Sorry. Yes. So sorry.
Councilman Sears,
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez,
Yes.
and Council President Morgan.
yes. So 120-310, public notice for 4,000. I'll let you go, Councilman Cassio. You.
I just want to know what the anticipated increase is. Are we doing more public notices?
This is always fluctuating because
Right.
it depends on if we do any kind of zoning ordinances. I have to put it in a fold.
Okay,
Bond ordinances cost more money than the regular little ones for the ordinances, you know, the size of the verbiage that the bond council wants is in there.
since you've been doing this recently, has the rates gone up in the paper or anything like that?
You know, I just got that notice too, and I'm trying to think if it was up or not.
'Cause we never really
Probably
exceeded-
is because it's never goes down.
Yeah, well, we just, we never exceeded $3,000.
I know, I was thinking we
So-
can lower it to 35.
You know,
That's a tough one because if I get to the end of the year, we'll start doing something with COA or anything. Any of those COA things, any of that is all zoning ordinance. That's where we need to keep a buffer because you never know. That's something it's moving toward.
And the price of ink is going off the wall.
What is
I
it?
would really suggest leaving that one alone.
That should be under supplies, the other one, the ink and all of the office supplies and all of that.
I'm okay with it. If you think it's we do have some things coming up, so, again, we have every meeting that we have to advertise, we have a
Yep.
special meeting.
Yep.
And I like what you did with these meetings,
Mhm.
Sue, where you just blanketed everything in one notice, which was a good thing.
Mhm.
So I'll leave it for 4,000. I'm okay. I'll make a motion for 4,000. Or
Second.
the mayor's request.
Councilman Cassio,
Yes.
Councilwoman Feeney,
Yes.
Councilman Sears,
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez,
Yes.
Council President Williams.
Yes. All right, and then the training, 120-370 for 1,500. It hasn't been used at all since 2017 in that significant, in that much. So is there something more that's coming down the pike that you see?
This is for my assistant to get training, but with COVID being out, She had some personal things with her family earlier on, and then with COVID, she's not a virtual learner. So we're just waiting for the classes to come back live, and we talk to her again about taking classes so she can get certified.
Do you think you need 1,500 for that?
Yeah, the classes have gone up, yes. It's usually 2 a year, and one's like 7 something, the other one's like 6 something, or 7 and 8. They're not cheap anymore, unfortunately.
I'll make a motion to accept the 1,500.
I'll second.
Oh, roll call.
Councilman Casio,
Yes.
Councilman Feeney, sorry.
Yes.
Blah, blah, blah. Councilman Sears,
Yes.
Council President, oh my goodness, I'm sorry, I'm hitting a roadblock right at the moment. Councilwoman Velez,
Yes.
Council President Morgan.
Yes. All right, and then code publication, 9,000.
What's going on?
Again, this is whatever we put in the book. It's all your ordinances and everything that get put into the book, and they get codified and they get marked up with the law, make sure everything is in order, make sure the language is right.
But isn't that the average? Wasn't that what we have been doing?
Yeah.
My question for it is we haven't come close to
Right.
spending what was budgeted. So
$7,000. And again, here we go. If we do more with any of the other ones, if you want to knock it down a little bit, you could, but I wouldn't suggest bringing it down to 7 or anything like that.
8.
can we do 8?
Mhm.
Maybe try.
Don't change any codes, it'll be 0.
There you go.
So you are.
All right, so you're gonna motion for 8?
I'd like to motion for 8.
I'll second that. Can I have a roll call?
Sure. Councilman Casio,
Yes.
Councilwoman Feeney,
Yes.
Councilman Sears,
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez,
Yes.
Council President Morgan.
Yes. Page 9, elections and ballots, 12,000.
Basically, nothing you can touch here.
Election,
Oh, yeah, this one,
I just make a motion to approve page 9.
re-election.
what's that?
No, you missed the button on page 8. Oh, that was part of it. I'm sorry.
that's-
I didn't
just
mark
this
my
one.
figure in there.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
I'm like, am I not seeing something?
I'm
Okay.
sorry. Did not put the
That's
figure in
okay.
there.
So election number, page.
We're losing you.
You are, all right, refocus. Page 9, election ballots, 12,000.
Can I just pull for educational purposes?
Sure. Election miscellaneous, 600. And CFO, 72,477. So we're gonna approve,
That's 2% that, I'm assuming.
I believe so.
What was that? I'm sorry, I was coughing. What did, Dr. Casio, what did you say?
Was
I'm
that
just asking if the
2%?
last 130 is 2%.
Okay, thank you,
It looks like
sorry.
it is.
Okay, so we're gonna approve everything but the election ballots so that we can discuss. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Second, roll call, Sue.
You seconding?
I'm seconding, yep.
Councilman Casio,
Yes.
Councilwoman Feeney,
Yes.
Councilman Sears,
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez,
Yes.
Council President Morgan.
Yes. All right, so Councilwoman Velez for 230 for 12,000, the ballots.
Just for educational purposes, if what is budgeted isn't used, as in 2019, 2020, and so forth, why
my
is there
goodness.
a continuous increase over time?
Because more people are asking for mail-in ballots.
The ballots.
Okay.
Sample ballots, mail-in ballots, so you've got your increase in registration, you've got your mail-in ballots, all of that printing all comes out of here. This all goes to the county.
But wouldn't we have seen that jump tremendously, be closer to what we budgeted for 2021?
Don't forget, call it forcible
It
stimulus.
went up almost $3,000.
Okay.
Mhm.
All
And
right.
postage goes up and it's all put together on a
Okay.
bill.
No, I agree. Just wanted a
But we have,
clarity.
is this a separate line than regular postage?
Yes.
Okay.
Well,
it's
this
totally
is, it's
different.
not our postage machine. Everything gets paid to the county. The county does it and then bills me according to the number of ballots that are printed.
Okay,
It could be multilingual ballots. It could be anything that falls under the ballots.
okay,
Okay. Thank you.
Encourage voting in person. You'll save money.
yeah.
Agreed.
Well, We'll have donuts and coffee there.
If we can shop at the DMV, we can show up to vote, right?
That's it. That's true. All right, so can I have a motion to approve the 12,000?
So move.
Second,
Okay, roll call.
Councilman Casio,
Yes.
Councilwoman Feeney,
yes.
Councilman Sears,
Yes.
Councilman Velez,
Yes.
Council President Morgan.
Yes. Page 10. Deputy Treasurer Benefits Coordinator. I had a question on this one, but we'll keep going. 5,075. Finance Treasurer Office Supplies, 1,000. Finance Treasurer Subscriptions and Books, 200. Finance Treasurer Dues, Meetings and Conferences, 1,100. Travel expenses, $250. Furniture and equipment, $200. And payroll services, $17,500.
Pull that one.
Is that what you were going to say too?
No, I was gonna pull two prior to that. I was gonna finish and then pull.
Which
That's
one?
okay. I was gonna pull 240 and 280.
Okay, so you want those pulled?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so we're going to approve everything but 240, 280, and 320. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
I'll second. Okay. Roll call.
Councilman Casio,
Yes.
Councilwoman Feeney,
Yes.
Councilman Sears,
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez,
Yes.
Council President Morgan.
Yes. Okay, so 240.
240. Looks like we've only used it in 218. What type of education is the treasurer getting? Does anyone know, Mr. Tovell? Because it hasn't been used.
We're talking 240, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
240
240.
subscriptions and books.
Well, I can't disagree. If nothing's been spent there, we should zero that out.
Okay,
So I'd like to bring it down to zero. We're not
Zero,
using it,
yep.
And it's zeroed out.
I agree.
Mr. Tolosam.
he says nothing's been done. We might as well total it out, zero it out.
Okay.
Okay,
So my motion is to zero, move it to zero.
I'll second.
Second.
Yep.
Councilman Casio,
Yes.
Councilwoman Feeney,
Yes.
Councilman Sears,
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez,
Yes.
Council President Morgan.
Yes. Okay, and 280 for $250 for travel expenses.
Almost the same thing. We're really
Yes.
not spending it. We spent it in 2019. Other years, we don't even touch it.
And I would offer the same response.
Same
Okay.
response. So I'll make a motion to bring
Second.
it to zero.
Okay, roll call.
Councilman Casio,
Yes.
Councilwoman Feeney,
Yes.
Councilman Sears,
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez,
Yes.
Council President Morgan.
Yes. Okay, and then 130-320, 17,500. Mr. Sears, was that you?
Yes. Can you give us an explanation on why the increase?
At the time the budget was prepared, we didn't have all of our final bills in for 21, primarily the printing of W-2s. So with that said, that number did come in below the 17. So I would make the recommendation, we go back to the 17 budgeted previously.
So I'll make a motion for the 17,000.
You want to drop it?
So
500?
we're making a negative 500.
Correct.
Okay.
Can we go lower?
No.
Mr. Tovo, quick question. Do you know why it jumped so high in 2020? Because it looked like we never went over like 15 grand, except for that year.
I think you changed it.
You have any indication why it was so high in that year? In 2020?
Yeah, honestly, I do not, but I can look into it and get back to you.
Okay. I'll go with their motion of 17,000. Motion 17?
Stacy, yep.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Okay, I'll second. Roll call.
Councilman Casio,
Yes.
Councilwoman Feeney,
Yes.
Councilman Sears,
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez,
Yes.
Council President Morgan.
Yes. Page 11. Finance treasurer training, 1,200. Finance treasurer miscellaneous expense, 4,100.
Someone pull that for,
Which one?
Miscellaneous.
130,500.
Finance service fee, 22,000. And audit services, 36,000. I have that one I wanted pulled.
Yeah, same here.
Mhm. And then tax collector, 65,000. I have that one I wanted to pull also. Yeah. Okay, so we'll approve the ones that we aren't pulling, which is the training, it's the training and the service fee, financial services fee. Can I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
Mayor, I have miscellaneous expenses in the audit for being
And tax collector.
tax collector, but not the top one, right? The training you're doing. We're
Right.
leaving that alone.
The training, we're fine.
Okay.
Okay, roll
I'm
call.
sorry. I'm sorry, I missed looking at that. Motion, roll call. Motion and second, I'm sorry.
So it's Daisy.
And
No.
My
second,
second.
No.
I'll second it.
Oh, someone.
Yeah,
Whatever.
second.
Were you second?
Oh.
Or you motioned it? I
you
said.
didn't need
Okay.
my motion.
Someone did it.
Someone, yeah, so it's,
Oh.
it was moved.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Councilman Cassio,
Yes.
Councilwoman Feeney,
Yes.
Councilman Sears.
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez,
Yes.
Council President Morgan.
Yes. All right, so just hang on a minute. All right, so then we're at 130-500 for $4,100 for miscellaneous expense.
If you notice, 1, 2, 3, that's 5 years, never got past 200. In 2021, it jumped to 3,000. And now they're jumping to 4,100.
Under the note, it says inventory new ESV.
What's ESB?
Well, to go back historically, we weren't doing the asset inventory every year as we're supposed to. Now, we've done that this year for the majority of the departments. However, once the new emergency service building is occupied, we'll have to do the rest of that inventory. That is the reason for the increase.
So is it just this year? Is a fee just for this year?
Well, the fee's gonna be lower in future years because we're only gonna have to inventory what's new and what's been removed. So the first year, it's gonna be a little bit higher.
Okay.
Because ultimately, we don't know how many filing cabinets and their furniture and so on. All that is in storage right now.
Oh, I see. I see.
All right, I'll keep the motion for 4,100.
Yeah,
Line item.
Just for informational, that looks like if you look at the audit trail, you can see that in there too, just so everybody knows that they.
If you see what, I'm sorry?
The audit trail in
Okay.
here, if you look at
I
it, you'll
didn't
see.
see what she said.
All right, so can someone, I'll second. Roll call.
Councilman Cassio,
Yes.
Councilwoman Feeney,
Yes.
Councilman Sears.
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez,
Yes.
Council President Morgan.
Yes. 135-200 for 36,000 for audit services. Did we not have anything done in 2021? Mr. Tovo?
2021's audit has not been done yet, and that's why it has not been paid out.
Because it's done in 2022, correct, Mr. Tovo?
Right. So
Yes.
do we know what that fee, what that cost is going to be?
Exactly what's budgeted, 35,999.
Because that was the same cost for 2020, but we spent 4,000 less.
That is the contract, that's as for the contract.
It's contracted? Then why are there different numbers for 2019, 2020? Why would there be different numbers?
Let me send the contract to the council. I'm not sure why they differ the way they do, because we get a contract from LVH every year.
Is it the same provider?
It is.
Oh, yeah.
My only assumption is the different use of personnel, where the principal might be used less than somebody else at a lower billable rate.
Well, whoever did it in 2017, let's get them back. 2020, let's get those people back.
2020, I like
2020.
2020.
I second that.
Yeah. I would just question the costs and hopefully we can get them back down to that. All right. So
110.
what are we thinking
What, 110?
No, we're still on the audit service.
on 200? Mhm.
I'll motion for the 36,000 since that's the contracted agreed upon amount.
Okay. I guess I'll second. Sue, roll call.
Councilman Casio,
Did you have
No.
a question? Did you have a question about it?
No, I want the next one.
Oh, okay.
That was a question why it was off.
Councilwoman Feeney,
Yes.
Councilman Sears,
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez,
Yes.
Council President Morgan.
Yes, but I would like it lower, but yes. And then 145-110 tax collector.
That is not 2%.
Again, I'm going with the 2%
Yes.
for that one across the board. And that number would be 52,541, I believe. So I'll make
I
it,
have 52,542.
okay,
All right.
I'll give you the extra
Okay.
25 cents, whatever it was. Okay, so I'll make a motion for the 2% raise on there.
I'll second
Bring
it.
it to Ms. Velez's 252,542.
I'll second it.
52,542. Okay.
Well, now you're making me question my math.
Sue, roll call.
I'm sorry, who did the motion? I was back and forth. Who's-
I did.
Steve did the motion, Tom did the
Who's the
second.
Okay, 52,542.
Mhm.
Councilman Casio,
Yes,
Councilwoman Feeney,
No, because she's nowhere near where the other tax collectors are in the Pascack Valley.
We gotta make a decision.
And we
Across the
did.
board.
Sears,
We did
Across the
2%.
board.
Councilman Sears,
Make a
Yeah,
decision.
for the 2%, yes.
Councilwoman Velez,
No.
Council President Morgan.
No. Hang on a minute, I just want to see something. Okay, so for page 12,
are you still on 11? You still gonna do that, or are you gonna leave it the same?
I think it stays, right?
Well, you gotta vote on it, right?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes,
vote on
I'm
it.
sorry. You're right.
Sorry? What?
I'll make a motion for the 65,000.
Hang on a minute. I mean, you can make the motion, but I want to discuss it.
Yeah.
Why don't you second it and then you can discuss it more.
No, because if I second it, it gets voted on.
So you can, you don't.
I can
right
discuss.
away.
That's what happened before.
Whatever you want to do.
All right,
That's what
so,
happened before.
yeah, that is what happened before. So let's just discuss it. The motion is up, but I want to just discuss it. I think what does that come out to? What's it, like $12,000 raise? Or what is that? What does that come out to?
It's about $1,000, a little more than
From
1,000.
51,000, from 65,000, and she or he was getting 51,000?
13,480.
Can we ask Mr. Tovo for an explanation, maybe? We could bring him into the conversation.
13,488.
Is what it comes to,
That's
13,000.
the difference.
Okay.
Could we bring Mr. Tovo into the conversation, please?
You can jump in anytime he wants.
Mhm.
Well, again,
You have to speak up, sorry.
the other adjustments we've made above 2%, the same logic applies here. It's a market merit recommendation by the administration. There's been a couple of years where this employee, I don't even believe got a raise. So there's certainly been a factor here where this employee is actually falling behind. If you look at the average just for the tax collector position, she does a lot of work outside of just tax in general and finance. So I feel that we feel in administration, bringing her to that number is more than reasonable and more than fair based on what the market is showing us.
What is the market?
Honestly, she's still going to be a little below because tax collectors in Bergen County are around the 70 mark.
Do we have a sheet similar to this for tax?
I don't know, do we? No, we don't have a sheet. I feel like we need more information when we're bringing people to market, more than just like, I need to see it. I need to see what the other towns are making. I need to have a comparison because it's a lot of money at one time. I don't mind doing half. If there was an arrangement made last time with a certain person, a certain department, if we're, going meeting halfway this year, but this is a big lump, a huge change. It's a big ask that this year we need to bring everyone to market. So,
Here's my take on it. Oh, go ahead, Mr. Tova. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mr. Tova.
We do have some salary survey information on this. I would prefer it came from the league, but it did not. It's something we did ourselves. I would just request that we table it till I can provide you with it.
okay. And I think, sorry, go ahead.
I can have that for you by the end of the week.
Okay, so then moving forward, whenever we're raising someone, we're doing a market value or a market increase, can we please have that comparison just so we know what we're looking at and we're voting on? Because I feel a little bit in the dark when it comes to that.
I agree.
So here's my take on it. If we're getting the sale price, okay, why would we pay full price? If someone's unhappy with their salary and they think they get full market, just like in private industry, they can go somewhere else. So I don't understand why we're starting to bring everyone to market. People don't want to apply for the job or work for the money, but we're offering, that's it. I don't get it. There's no other industry that I know of that's going to do this. So that's my take on it. Everyone again should be equal, getting across the board 2%.
Yep.
If they didn't like it at 50 and they were under market, then they should have been looking for 2 years. So I don't get this whole bring it up to market. To me, that's a bunch of garbage. But that's my opinion.
Vice
And I'll
President,
stand at that.
sorry, thank you. Vice President Feeney, did you have something you wanted to add?
Yeah, I just want to say on the flip side, it also goes to an attestment of the town and the current administration to show that they value the staff that we have, the training dollars we put into them. Retention is very important, as we've said, for experience. And also, previous administrations have, in my opinion, from review of the budgets and the budget meetings, have given almost nothing to a lot of the employees. So in order to keep a seasoned employee here, who is, based on my own research, is well below, market. And then if you look at not bringing someone close to where they should be and losing them to someone else, and we were trying to hire a new person, we would be in the $80,000 to $90,000 range. So that's also the flip side on that too.
If I could add to that, if we could even find somebody qualified for the position.
Right. So just keep in mind, sometimes, you have what we have, and moving them up in a positive way is a good thing, as several other employees over the past few years have been. Not moving them up does put us in jeopardy of having to go outside and hire a new person for much more money than we're currently paying.
So from 2019 to 2022, it's a $15,000 raise.
So, Plus and minuses
Yeah,
on
we
here.
would do a chart. We
Okay.
would do it. Yep. At the end. Reminder.
All right, well, what are the other council's thoughts?
The blood?
Any more discussion on this?
I defer to what I said before. If these were conversations that were had last year about bringing people up to market, then we've got to do that. But then they have to know this is where it's at. And we're not moving from 2% the following year. But I do believe in the quality of the work that some of these individuals have brought is equally as important, right? We're not buying things, we're buying people's loyalty and dedication to our town. We're paying them for the work that we're expecting. So if they're performing, then they deserve fairness.
That's for everybody?
I agree, yes, across the board. We've had this conversation 4 times now. So it should be across the board.
I agree. I do agree. I think though, Mr. Tovo, it needs to be, after these people get moved into market, how many are expected to go up next year? Is there a ton or are we done?
There certainly is not a ton. There might be 1 or 2 others, but nothing I foresee to this magnitude.
Okay, because I'd like to see merit-based raises and not just across the board 2% because we're doing 2%. I think there should be some kind of, employee evaluation that warrants a 2% or a 3% or a 1.5%. But I don't agree with just everyone gets 2% because it's fair. It's like giving everyone a trophy just for participating. That's
So Council President, who's going to read the evaluation? Will the council get the evaluation to determine that this person is credited to get a merit award?
No, I think that the person that should read it is the administrator if they report to him. And I would hope that we have placed enough, belief that he has the integrity to be fair and give an honest account of their performance, and not just write a blanket 2% across the board. I think that we can expect that.
Council President?
Yes.
So I agree. I have been asking also for performance evaluations in order to, for merit increases that way. I think the supervisor of the person should review it to give my opinion to Councilman Sears. And we need to trust the administration that there's a 2-level review on that, so that 2 people weigh in on someone's job performance. And then we as the council need to trust the administration because they're in the day-to-day with these employees. We're not.
And I'm not saying there shouldn't be a cap, even in my organizations, I've ever been an administrator of, there's always a cap on what the percent is going to be. But within that, if we're not going to go higher than 2% or 2.5%, let's say, there are people who are going to get 1.5%, but I think we need to see that and it needs to be based on merit.
I think we need, especially for big jumps like this, we need more information. Why the jumps? Right.
All right, we're getting stuck on this. So what do you guys want to do? What do we want to do with this? Is there a motion?
I made a motion for the 65,000.
Is there a second? Okay, there's no second.
I'll make a motion again for the 52,542.
Second that motion.
Okay, 52,542 has been seconded. It's up for vote. To roll call.
You're running out of ink there, Sue.
Yeah, Councilman Casio,
Yes.
Councilwoman Feeney,
No.
Councilman Sears,
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez,
No,
Council President Morgan.
No. I can hear you. Okay. So no.
so what happens in this case?
65.
Says 65.
Okay, we're moving on.
All right, yes, but be it known that this is gonna, that's it. Daisy, I think that you said it perfectly. There are, if we're at market, there's no further increases other than the regular COLA and the, 2% based on merit.
And I know we already took a vote on it, but then we did 3 out of the 4.
Well, there was no vote for the last one. so-
But one is in market. It's just the lower ends, but it's still in market. Is that the one you're referring to?
Township clerk.
Yeah, it's still within market per Mr. Tovo's comment is in the lower end of the market, but it's in market. Apparently this particular.
The other 3 were not close.
See, but I have market
Correct.
for the position, and just FYI, it's 80,732, not, that's midpoint on that
Or
position.
which one are you referring to?
Clerk.
Clerk.
Okay, so
Okay.
let's talk about the others then that you're saying. They weren't close to market. Oh,
Sorry?
let's just move to,
Yeah.
we're gonna
I
move
think
on to page 12.
that's-
Okay.
Thank you.
Tax collector office supplies, 1,350. Subscriptions and books, 120. Dues, meetings and conferences, 800.
Pull 240 for me.
Dues, meetings, conferences, 800. And then travel, 100. I'm gonna pull that one. Tax collector training, 2,000. I want to pull that one.
Me too.
Okay, so we're gonna approve one. Yeah, just one. We're approving the office supplies at 1,350. So can I have a motion?
Did we pull, I'm sorry, 250?
I'm sorry, and 250. Sorry, we're approving both.
Okay.
Yep, 200 and 250. Dues, meetings and conferences and office supplies. I motion, can I have a second?
Second.
Sue, roll call, please.
Councilman Casio,
No.
Councilwoman Feeney,
Yes.
Councilman Sears,
No.
Councilwoman Velez,
Yes.
Council President Morgan.
Yes, I'm just trying to figure out, did you guys want to pull something?
No.
Why weren't we saying yes to the ones that we have? If you didn't want to pull something, I don't understand.
We don't have to pull it. You just can vote no. You don't have to discuss it if you don't want to.
Okay. Isn't that why we pulled them? Okay,
No.
it's okay.
You can pull it to discuss it, or you can just vote how you feel. It doesn't have to be a discussion.
Okay, so the office supplies must have really got you. All right, subscriptions and books. For 145, 240 for $120. I wanted that pulled because it wasn't used at all.
Make a motion to zero that out.
Okay, Mr. Tovo, we're gonna zero that out. Is that okay with you? Like, does that work? Is there something in the pipe that you see? Oh, can't hear you at all.
Hello,
On both 240 and 280, nothing's been spent, so I would agree to zero both out.
Perfect, thank you. I'll second your motion, Steve.
Okay.
Roll call.
Councilman Casio,
Yes.
Councilwoman Feeney,
Yes.
Councilman Sears,
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez,
Yes.
Council President Morgan.
Yes. For 145, 280, $100, we're gonna zero that out as well.
I'll second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Councilman Casio,
Yeah.
Councilwoman Feeney,
Yes.
Councilman Sears,
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez,
Yes.
Council President Morgan.
Yes. And then tax collector training for $2,000. I asked to have that one pulled. What's that?
Sorry, yes, I wanted to ask, I mean, the most that's ever been spent in that line and was a transfer out. So they spent $977 plus the transfer. So would $1,000 suffice here? Do you know if there's plans? Oh,
Mr. Tovo, you have to speak up again. I'm sorry. I can't hear you. Oh, you agree for 1,000?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll make a motion for 1,000 then.
Second. Oh,
Councilman Cassio,
Yes.
Councilwoman Feeney,
Yes.
Councilman Sears,
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez,
yes.
Council President Morgan.
Yes. And then we're gonna just go to page 25 real quick. Yeah, we had tabled 4 items until Mr. Tovo was present. So on page 25, the second one down, 195-240, Uniform Construction Codes, Subscriptions and Books for $2,500, Mr. Tovo. Is there a reason you requested $2,500?
Every year, the new code books have to be purchased, and we are due to do that.
Every how often?
Every couple of years when the state updates the books.
3 years typically.
Okay, okay. So can,
Do we need the 2,500 though?
Mm-hmm.
Can,
well, look in 2019, they were, oh yeah. Yeah, 2019,
Mhm.
2240.
oh, okay. I see.
Those books are very expensive.
Okay, so I'll motion for the 2,500.
I'll second.
Okay, Sue, roll call, please.
Councilman Cassio,
Yes.
Councilwoman Feeney,
Yes.
Councilman Sears,
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez,
Yes.
Council President Morgan.
Yes. Okay, and then 195-300, furniture and equipment for 1,000. Someone had asked me to pull that.
The conception of last year is pretty consistent with prior spending. As you know, this year, the head TA needs a new printer,
Printer.
a new desktop printer.
Okay.
That's for 300, correct? That's 195-300.
Yes.
Okay. I'll motion for the 1,000 if he needs a new printer.
Okay, I will second it.
I'm sorry, who needs this printer?
The head TA.
Oh, okay.
That'd be a good printer.
When was the last one purchased?
We limped the last one through. It was probably 7 or 8 years old.
Okay, so there wasn't a new one purchased recently?
There was, but not for the head TA.
And they can't share? They can't connect to it and print from it?
Well, this one is just, like I said, it's a desktop just for the head TA. The other one is used by everyone.
Okay,
Right.
it's a naive question because I don't necessarily understand where they sit or the proximity to it, but is there a reason? Is there private information? Is there a reason she needs a desktop and can't use the other one to save us 1,000?
I can certainly go back and ask her that, but it was reasonable.
You
I
go
didn't
back
hear
and
the end
ask
of
for
it.
that. And what, Bob?
I said I can go back and get clarification, but it seemed like a reasonable request.
Okay, what does the rest of you think?
Does she currently have one? I'm sorry, not she. Does he or she currently have one that we're replacing?
Yes.
Well, this is a replacement for one. And I think that if Mr. Tovo is advising and it's his area, they report to him, we also have to take what he's saying.
They just, in 2020, spent 1,600.
They said that was for the one that everyone uses, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so I guess we have a motion for $1,000. Any seconds? So there's no second, okay. So what do you guys want to do
I'll make a motion for 500.
for 500? Is there a second?
Second.
Sue, roll call.
Councilman Cassio,
Yes.
Councilwoman Feeney,
No.
Councilman Sears,
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez,
Yes.
Council President Morgan.
Yes. 195-370, training, $3,000.
Both our head TA and our secondary TA are both up for the majority of their CEUs this year. I do think we have some room to bring that down. I think 1,000 per employee should be enough, so a total of 2,000.
So how often do they need CEUs and how many do they need to stay certified?
It's every 3 years. They typically try to level out the courses over the 3 years, but COVID's throwing a curveball into that, where a lot of courses were not being offered.
It doesn't look like they took any courses over the last 5 years, except for 1 or 2 maybe in 2019.
Yeah, I'm not sure that prior to our current head TA being in place, that any training was done or any CEUs were maintained.
Most of that training was shut down by the state
5 years.
because of COVID. No, they did do some training.
They
There's
did
a-
For
in 2019,
There's
but
a
now
new-
we're asking for 3,000. So if they did any training, why are we asking for so much?
I'll make a
Mr.
motion for
Tovo, there's a new
1,000.
person in there.
He said he brought it down, right?
I'll make a motion for 1,000.
Mr. Tovo,
What was your recommendation?
This was 2,000.
but you're saying that they've spread out their CEUs, right? They do have some CEUs. They don't need everything.
Well, I'm saying that's what they tried to do, but a lot of courses were not available.
Aren't a lot of these online as well? Because, I mean, I need CEUs for my stuff. I know you need CEUs to keep your license too, Doc, right?
Mhm.
And you need
Sure.
CEUs. So a lot of it's online. Were they not getting online and doing this?
So some are online, that's true, but not all of them. For example, our head TA had never been to the conference and went this year because there was an opportunity to get some CEUs. And that will continue again this year.
Mr. Tovo, do we have a new TA in place?
We have a head TA and we have a part-time second TA.
Okay.
Is there any way to lower that more than just 2,000? I know that Councilman Cassio said 1,000. I'm not looking to make it so that they can't have their CEUs, but is there a way to meet somewhere in the middle?
1,500?
1,500.
Like to
I'll change
1,500?
it. I'll change it to 1,500. Motion 1,500. I'll withdraw my first motion.
Second.
Is that going to get them through?
We'll make it work.
I appreciate it. I really do.
Councilman Cassio,
Yes.
Councilwoman Feeney,
Yes.
Councilman Sears,
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez,
Yes.
and Council President Morgan.
Yes, and thank you, Mr. Tovo, for being flexible with that.
You're welcome.
195, 500 for 15,000 miscellaneous. I know it says added inspection projects. I just want to know, what does that encompass? Because that is something we've not seen before.
Yeah, hopefully you'll never see it again.
From your mouth to God's
Yeah.
ears.
Well, honestly, the issue is twofold. Number one, because we haven't addressed our fee schedule in construction, it's not covering the cost of inspections. So therefore, we have two major projects projected for many inspections this year, but we don't know which inspectors are going to be utilized, so we don't know the pace of the projects yet. That's going to be Capital Senior Housing and Franklin Court. So by putting in miscellaneous, I can then disperse it to whether it be the plumbing subcode or the construction code or the fire code. Otherwise, it's like trying to herd cats. Where would you put X amount of dollars? So the recommendation by the construction official was a minimum of $15,000 to cover those added costs. Now, we will get that money back in the permitting fees, but we have to pay the employees.
Can you list what those projects are again, please?
Capital Senior Housing and Franklin Court.
So
And
that's
there
the
may-
bucket, that's the bucket that you'll pull from it when you need that money.
Correct. There's no other way to try to categorize these numbers because we don't know how the flow of the inspection will go. And we may even have to use inspectors from other jurisdictions if we can't keep up with it.
Just to clarify, the senior housing, is that what you said?
Capital Senior Housing is the project on Pascack Road.
Yeah, okay.
Right.
Just want to make sure that's. Okay. Thank you. Okay.
Okay, so you would need this money somewhere. It's just coming out of this one lump sum thingy here. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So motion for 15,000.
One question. Are you gonna draw that immediately, or are you gonna go after the inspections first with the permits? That's what I'm not understanding. You're gonna have this money in the line item, right? So you're gonna pay the inspector to go out? What's the protocol? The inspector goes out and then they pay the fee, or after they do it?
Depends on the kind of permit that they're applying for. In some cases, the permit is paid in advance, but then the subsequent inspections often exceed what the permitting fee was because as we pointed out, we need to adjust what those fees are to keep up with the work that has to go into it.
Looking at the planning board or the zoning board's attorney with the engineer, if that engineer the inspector needs extra money, that should be coming out of those boards, correct?
Out of the board? No, I think that's separate, Tom. I think that you're going for the electrical permit, right? So if we're gonna send someone out before, you send someone out, why don't you pay us? Then we don't have to bankroll this money, right? Doesn't that make sense to you? It's like getting a hamburger. I pay the cash first and then they give me the hamburger, right? They never give you the hamburger first. You always have to pay them. I'm just saying, I don't know if that's the way, I think that's the way it should work, right? But maybe it doesn't work in this way. So I'm asking Mr. Tovo that question. So this way we wouldn't have to, put out or collect 15 grand from the taxpayer. So anyway, I'm not sure how that works. So.
Do you know how that works, Mr. Tovo?
Yeah, I don't know if you can hear my answer, but in some cases, the permitting fee does cover the cost of the inspector, but the timing of when that money comes in, as opposed to when the inspection has to be done, don't always align. And any subsequent or follow-up inspections are not included in the current fee schedule. So as we correct or adjust our fee schedule, we shouldn't have to do this anymore. But this year we're just, these inspections are, in some cases, have already begun. So we need to have some seed money in there to keep up with it.
So that's going to be our priority, to correct the fee schedule.
Yes, and the township attorney is working on that.
Just looking back, I mean, we've never had this order, this process.
Well, this miscellaneous was usually for an inspector that was doing a house inspection on an elected official or someone in town that works in Borough Hall. Like, I need electrical done, right? So our inspector couldn't come do my electric. I'd have to get the person from, I think we used Hillsdale. Their inspector came out, so there's no conflict of interest. That's why this 250 was in there across. All right. So if you wanted something done plumbing in your house, you can't have the town inspector inspect it because, that's how it works. Conflict of interest.
So that's what that line
Yes.
is for.
Mr. Ledger is correct. We've never had to do it to this level.
Okay.
We also hadn't had these projects like this in a long time.
That's true. All right, I'll motion for 15,000.
I'll second.
Pursue roll call.
Councilman Casio,
Regrettably, yes.
Me too, I know.
Councilwoman Feeney,
She needs a minute.
Yes.
Councilman Sears,
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez,
Yes.
Council President Morgan.
Yes. All right, so we are done for tonight. All right, so motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Oh, yes. Thank you. So our next meeting is going to be Monday, March 21st.
7:30.
So yeah, 7:30. And then in the conference agenda piece, we will go into budget. Okay, now we are adjourned.